Climate wars flare in the scrolling bar.
What's up, everybody?
We are. Then I thought hits quick like a locker slam. What if I just play the songs that raised this man? Donnie, spin that track. Eddie's going back. 96 posters on his bedroom wall. All that teen angst in a one-car garage. Now it's echoing through a comment hall.
Spin that track. What's up, everybody? Hope you all are having a good day. It's Monday. Started a little bit early today because we're gonna watch President Trump speaking to the angel mothers and fathers today, and I know a decent amount of them, so I figured we're going to show this. I knew they were traveling there today, or yesterday, and something was going to happen today, and now I know what. Donnie, handsome, you've met Angel Mom before, haven't you? You've met a couple Angel Moms. So yeah, we're going to start the show off today with President Trump announcing that he is making today, yesterday, February 22nd, Angel Families Day. And so let's watch this whole event. I hear it was a great event. I had been gone all day, but we're going to watch it now with you guys.
For everybody, including the media, but they don't really cover it fairly. I will tell you that. It's shocking. Please sit down. Thank you. We gathered here today for a truly solemn occasion. Throughout this hall, I am joined by heartbroken Americans who have lost parents, siblings, children, grandchildren, and treasured loved ones to the scourge of illegal immigration led in by the past administration. Millions and millions of people from jails, millions and millions of people from countries that we don't want to know about.
All right.
Drug dealers, murderers, 11,888 murderers were allowed into our country by the Biden administration. These are the angel families that we love, that for decades our government betrayed and our media totally ignored, and I've seen it. When I first got involved with the angel families, I had a meeting. It was so sad. And they got up and spoke, and the media literally just turned off the cameras. They didn't want to hear them. It was my first glimpse as to what was happening. These are sick people.
Yeah, they are.
Cover stories like that, or that don't cover them, which is worse. Everyone in this room not only suffered
How are you doing?
an infinite loss, they were the victims of politicians who put the comfort of foreign criminals before the safety of American citizens and American patriots. Their stories were censored and
I know my friend
suppressed,
Agnes and
like maybe
Angie
almost
Morphine
never
were there.
before, so that the politicians could open our borders and allow our nation to be invaded. If we didn't win the election, our nation would right now be destroyed. But under the Trump administration, their suffering is forgotten no longer. In just a few moments, I officially signed a proclamation that I've been waiting to sign for a long time, including my first administration. There were so many different legal roadblocks, it was incredible. We got it done. And I'm doing it today. February 22nd is going to be National Angel Family Day. Very important. So many incredible family members and friends, parents and children. On February 22nd, 2 years ago, a brilliant 22-year-old nursing student named Laken Hope Riley went out for a run on a college campus in Georgia. Laken was viciously attacked, brutally beaten and murdered by an illegal alien gang member who the last administration heartlessly released into our country. No problems. Let them in. They let in everybody. They didn't check anybody. They let in everybody. Among the first bills I signed into law after taking office last year was the Laken-Riley Act. I'm so proud of it. To ensure illegal alien criminals are rapidly removed from the United States of America, if that's okay with the media. That bill has already been really playing a big role in the life of our country. It's resulted in over 21,000 illegal alien arrests, 21,000. We're joined this morning by Laken's parents, who I have gotten to know. These are incredible people. And I want to ask Laken's mother, Allison, to please come forward and say a few words, please.
Well, this is unexpected, but I think that a lot of people feel like that President Trump is maybe different than the version I've gotten to know. And I just can't thank you enough. You have said from the beginning, literally the day after this happened, that you would not forget about Laken. You weren't president at that time, and you have not forgotten. You have fought a fight that most people would not want to have to fight. Most people wouldn't. They would just say it's just easier not to do this. And President Trump you are doing a thankless job that most people just wouldn't do. And I just can't thank you enough. There are just not enough words to say. Because if you lived the nightmare that we have lived, you understand the importance of the job that he's doing and securing our nation and fighting for our families. Because this could be any family. This happened to my family. This could be any one of your families. Yep. And Laken was the most responsible, hardworking, kind, selfless, beautiful Christian. And she wasn't somebody that put herself in bad positions. She didn't make bad choices. She was just a good girl. And she just wanted to go for a run that morning after she'd gotten up at 4 o'clock the morning before to decorate her roommate's door for her birthday. And she did everything for everyone else. She expected nothing in return. She just wanted to be a good friend and a good sister and a good daughter and a hardworking nurse. She was working so hard for. And I'm beyond blessed and thankful that you're honoring not just Laken, because she's one in a ton of people that have suffered at the hands of illegal immigrants. She's not the only one. And so thank you for honoring all of them, not just Laken. And we're just beyond grateful. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you very much. Amazing, Allison. You have to go through this. Doesn't get that much easier, does it? Right? Even with time. It's been a while now, and it doesn't get that much easier. But I want to thank you for your incredible courage. We're all courageous in a sense. Everybody in this room is courageous. And we're willing to tell the story, and that I don't know why the news doesn't want to hear it. The Democrats don't want to hear it. The radical left, they don't want to hear it. What's not to hear? We want to stop murderers and criminals from coming into our country. I watch the mayor of Minneapolis. I watch these people saying, we want to protect murderers. I don't get it. Something's sick. They're sick. Can't have a country like that. So we appreciate the bravery of everybody in this room, actually. And Christy, I want to thank you, and I want to thank Tom in particular for, we have a border that's 100% closed now. 100%. So Lakin's story is even more tragic because her death was completely preventable. This shouldn't have happened. Guy should never have been here. Not only should her killer not have been released into our country in the first place, but he was released a second time after being arrested in New York City. Here today is a great gentleman, the police officer who arrested that illegal alien, only to watch him be set free to kill. I mean, he was arrested and they let him go free. They knew he was trouble, big trouble. Many of them are like that. They release him knowing it's gonna kill again, but they released him and set him free to kill Lakin. So I'd like to have Ethan Carreri come up, please. He's a great, highly respected police officer, and you can explain what happened here. Come on up. Thank you, Ethan.
Hey, Donnie.
Mr. President, it's an honor to be here today, and it's an honor to be speaking with you guys. My name is Ethan Carreri. I'm a police officer in Palm Beach County, Florida, and a former New York City police officer. While serving the New York City Police Department, I personally arrested Jose Ibarra for endangering the welfare of a child. A few months later, I saw his face again in the news after he viciously murdered Laken Riley. I did my job. I put him in custody. The system failed. No detainer, no accountability, no deportation, and an innocent American life was taken. If you enter our country illegally, there will be consequences under this administration. The American citizens must always come first.
Yep.
To Laken Riley's family, your loss should have never happened. We owe it to you and every American family to enforce our laws, secure our border, and protect innocent lives. Mr. President, thank you so much for having me here today, and thank you for all you've done for our country. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I noticed you left New York to come to Florida. In a way, it's too bad, right? You couldn't take it anymore. They don't let you do your job.
You want to go outside, Donnie?
But thank you very much, Nathan. It's great, highly respected person. I have to do a little checking before I introduce people.
Baby?
Sometimes I introduce people and they say, sure, did you know this or that? But you checked out very, very well. Wow. Stories like Laken's are one more reason why my administration will do everything in our power to end the scourge of sanctuary cities once and for all. They protect criminals. Why do people fight? They protect criminals with a vengeance. They fight for these criminals like murderers. They're protecting murderers. They fight for them so hard. There's something wrong with them. We're joined today by so many angel families who are grieving a terrible loss. They've gone through hell. Steve Ronnebeck was the father of 21-year-old Grant Ronnebeck, a beautiful guy, who was shot and murdered by an illegal alien while he was working behind the counter of a convenience store in Arizona. He was working behind the counter. Steve, would you please come forward? We'll talk about your boy. Thank you very much.
You know, I spent some time with President Trump in his first election. President Trump talked about Grant even before he was elected in 2016. And finally, we had hope. We had hope that it was going to end. I was just talking to Secretary Noem that We all sat around a table one day during one of our visits to Washington. And again, the word preventable came up. All these deaths at the hands of illegal immigrants are preventable. They could have been stopped. We could have done so much more, unfortunately, at the hands of an election that we questioned. Somebody took their foot off the brakes, put their foot on the accelerator to let these people into our country. And it wasn't just regular people, it was criminals, it was murderers, killers, rapists. And now today, we are finally going to see that somebody's going to remember all of our loved ones. They're going to remember the names, and they're going to remember what we've all been through. Thank you, Mr. President.
And think of it, I'm not talking politics, I'm just talking life. If that election, if it wasn't rigged, it was a rigged election by millions and millions of votes. A guy that never left his basement, was all run by crooked people. COVID was a little bit of a shield. We had a lot of things going on. But it was rigged by millions of votes. We did great in that election. If that election wasn't rigged, every single one of the people in this room right now would not be here. You'd be home with your son, daughter, family. We had a strong border. You know, we solved it twice, Tom. We solved it. In 2016, the border was bad. Nothing like it was this time. It was like beautiful compared to this time. This was legendary. In the history of the world, there's never been a border like this where millions of people poured in. At least 25 million people. And many of them were the wrong people. Many. You know, when countries fill up the caravans, they don't fill them up with their finest. I wouldn't. And I would do exactly what they did if the United States would be willing to take all of our criminals and people, or people that don't work. But they are smart people. I got to know most of those leaders. I know them. I said, what are you doing? They said, look, it was a totally open border. They saved hundreds of millions of dollars. And they gave it to us, and we've done a great job. Tom Holman, Christine Ohm, our people, they've been incredible, the job they've done. And they take nothing but abuse, but you know, they're sort of pretty hardened to that, I think, because they know they're doing the right thing. It just amazes me that there's not more support out there. It's just, we actually have a silent support. I think it's silent. I think well, that's how I won. I got probably 85 million votes. They say 78 million, 79 million. They cheated in this election too. It was just too big to rig. Too big to rig. But they cheated like hell. They can't win on policy. Men and women's sports. We have a new one though. Voter ID. I think that's as crazy as they won't approve voter ID. They won't approve proof of citizenship.
Nope.
They won't approve no mail-in ballots, even though they know it's crooked as hell. Where the ballots are sent to, in many cases, Democrats. Republicans don't get theirs, and they're calling frantically to get their ballot. A Democrat will get 3, 4, 5, 6, and even 7 ballots. And then we're supposed to win. That's what they're good at. They're professional. Cheaters. But we wouldn't be here right now. I'm just thinking as we're going through it, because we've suffered through it together. I suffer for the country. I mean, it's the people I've gotten to know, the mothers and fathers, mostly mothers and fathers. Husbands in some cases, wives in some cases, but mostly mothers and fathers, what they have to go through. Also with us is Marie Vega, the mother of Javier Vega Jr., the retired U.S. Marine and Border Patrol agent, so respected, who was murdered in front of his family by 2 illegal aliens, bad ones, really bad ones. People you could look at them and you could say, trouble. Trying to steal his family's trucks. He wanted to take everything the family had, but the trucks in particular. Marie, please come forward. Thank you, Donnie.
Trump, on behalf of my family and I, thank you for hosting this beautiful remembrance in honor of our loved ones who were killed by illegal aliens. As you said, August the 3rd, 2014, my husband Javier, my son, Marine and Border Patrol Agent Javier Harvey Vega, his wife, 2 of his sons and a friend, and I were fishing in Santa Monica, Texas. Within minutes of settling in, we were ambushed by 2 illegal aliens with many priors. Without warning, they jumped out of their stolen vehicle with guns that were not supposed to be in their possession in an attempt to steal 2 4-wheel drive vehicles. While trying to defend us, Harvey was shot in the chest and killed. My husband, Javier Sr., was shot in the back. Remember, you all, children were there fishing with their friends, and they just kept shooting. You could hear the bullets just whizzing past you. Javier Sr. returned fire with this weapon, and I grabbed the AR that Harvey had attempted to defend us with, and I returned fire as well. Had we not fired back, they would have killed everyone there, including the children, so that there wouldn't be any witnesses. And they killed an amazing man, a loving and honorable dad and husband. Thank God we have you in office. Without you, America and the world would not know the consequences of open borders. Thank you for restoring law and order. Thank you for acknowledging us, the angel families. Every day I think of you and the heavy weight of a nation that you carry with you. I can't imagine what it must be like to wake up every morning, work so diligently amid attacks and resistance from the left, to deal with the craziness, the fraud, and the swamp. But you get it done day in and day out, all while finding solutions to making America great again. You absolutely amaze me. Please know that we see it, and we, the masses, your constituents, are behind you 100%. When you were elected the first time, for the first term as president, I remember saying to my boss, this is exactly what this country needed, a businessman. You did an outstanding job then. And although you were cheated out of the second term, by the way, you won that election as well, and we know it. I knew the third term was going to be epic, and here we are, mega. Before I end this, I have to share a sweet story with you about my daddy. He absolutely hated the way people treated you and attacked you. On your third run for office, he said to me, "Mijita," which means my little daughter in Spanish, "Can you check to see if I'm up to date and still registered to vote? We need to make sure President Trump gets into office." I said, "Of course, Daddy." And I did, and I checked, and he was registered to vote. We lost a great man, April the 3rd of 2025, and that would be my dad. Again, thank you for everything. Thank you for backing Border Patrol and ICE, and backing these families. Thank you so much.
So beautiful. You know, I was thinking as you were saying that running again for a third time after having gone through what we went through the second time, which was so horrible. So much cheating, so much deception and viciousness, and you could see what they were going to do. And I'm here now, and it's a much more powerful term than my second term would be, and much more powerful. And one of the reasons is everybody sees how bad they were. And I had to go through, and I still do, fake stories, fake polls. And I had polls for the election that showed I was going to get swamped, and I won in a landslide. They were fake polls because polls are tough. You know, when you get a fake poll, I get them today. I saw one today that I'm at 40%. 40%. I'm not at 40%. I'm at much higher than that. I mean, I'd love to run against anybody. The real polls say you kill everybody. It wouldn't even be close. But you go through the fake polls, you go through the fake stories. And I said, you know, it was good because this is really a much more powerful term than I would have had if I had run, because it was just one of those things. There would be nothing to compare it to. And now they compare it to Biden and that horrible, horrible administration. And I mean it, it is more powerful. Our military is much more powerful. We rebuilt it mostly in the first term. Then they gave away a chunk of it. And as much as it was, it's very small relatively, Tom. But we gave it to the Taliban. Just walked out. We could have taken it with us. They said, oh, I think it's cheaper to leave the planes. Just put a little jet fuel and fly it to a neighbor or fly it right home. Sir, I think it's cheaper. I think we'll save money by leaving a $150 million jet on the runway. These people are crazy. But I said, and I've said to a lot of people, it's much better what happened. But not for you people, it's not. And then I go back and say, but I wish it didn't, because every one of your loved ones would be alive today. Everyone in this room, I think, maybe there's one where it could have sneaked through during our term, but I don't think so. We had a very tough border. We had we solved it in 2016, and we had a very strong border. I would say nothing is as strong as what we have now, but we had a very strong border. We had a good border. We had a sane border. It was sane. And I say, I like this much better. Much more respect. You know, you read about all these crazy shooters, but they only go after consequential presidents. They don't go after non-consequential presidents, you know. If you take a look, Abraham Lincoln, some big one. John Kennedy, in a certain way, was very consequential. He represented something very important. He was there for 1,000 days, as you know, the book, 1,000 days, but he was consequential. There was a glamour, there was something good for our country, right? But they're consequential, and I was told that. I saw that the other day. They said they only go after consequential. So maybe I want to be a little bit less consequential. Can we hold it back a little bit, please, Tom? Can we just, like, nice and easy? Let's be a normal president for a little while. Because we had the greatest first term, I think, of any president in history. A lot of people have said that. Even radical left people have said that. And so it's, you know, but the one problem is that, and every time I say it, I go back to the one thing. I said, but we wouldn't have had 25 million people allowed to come into our country, totally unchecked, totally unvetted. And those are the people that destroyed your lives. They destroyed your lives. They wouldn't be there. So I always say, I like it better, but there's one thing I don't like better, and that's what they did. Because I think that's the single biggest problem. You know, he gave us inflation, highest inflation we've ever had. I solved that. Right now, inflation's at a very low number. How about gasoline? I was in Iowa, $1.85 a gallon. You know, I solved that. I did a great job with that. Prices are coming way down, and I'll get them down further. But, you know, Christ, no matter. By the way, if I came up with a cure for cancer, they would say, he should have done it years ago. There's not a thing I can do where these people are going to give me credit, and that's okay, because we won in a landslide, so the people understand. The people understand. But the one thing that I regret about the election and the process, because it's a much bigger, more important, you look at what we're doing throughout the world, we're respected like we've never been before. But the one thing that I can't do anything about is that he allowed 25 million people, many of these murderers, drug lords, criminals, people from mental institutions. They emptied their mental institutions, Tom, is that right? All over the world, not just in South America. They emptied their jails, many of them from all over the world. Why? Why would we do this? And they walk in, nobody even asks for, like, do you have an identification? Do you have an ID? It's so crazy. You know, the mayor of New York, and he's a very nice person. I met him, but his ideology is not too good. But we're having a massive snowstorm right now. And I heard that he's asked people to come out and help shovel the snow. Okay, so you get a shovel and you start shoveling, right? What the hell, you're not gonna help too much, but you can help. And hello, darling, how are you? Noah, right behind you, look. My friend, right? Are you okay? Yes, you. Are you okay? Are you okay?
I'm doing very well. I just
Good.
want to give you a hug when this is all
Good, are your eyes okay?
Wednesday, they,
I gave her money to get her eyes fixed. A lot of money to get her eyes fixed. That doctor ripped me off, but that's okay. And when do you go?
Wednesday, I go for surgery. It was postponed because they said the grief caused me to have 2 heart attacks.
Well, you get them done. It's an operation, but it's 100%, you know, it's great.
It's Wednesday.
Good. You're gonna have 20/20 vision. You know, she's almost blind, cataracts. She's almost blind. And with one operation that will take a very short period of time, hope you have a good doctor.
I hope so.
He's an expensive doctor, top of the line, right? But you know what? You're gonna have 20/20 vision. Because I noticed you're wearing glasses. I saw you yesterday on television wearing glasses, and I said, well, but anyway. But, you know, speaking of your family, it would be a lot different right now, except for the election. So I always say, it's too bad that happened. And if I had it to do again, it's despite the tremendous job we're doing now, I wish it could have been the other way, because we wouldn't even be having this meeting right now. There'd be nobody. I wouldn't have gotten to know you, but it's gotten to know you under very bad circumstances, right? The worst circumstances. So, one of those things. But the thing I can't understand is why the press isn't more supportive. They're so dishonest. The stories, the polls, they poll you, they say, oh, the angel moms. I think the angel moms are the finest people I've met. I mean, the angel moms and families and dads, but these are unbelievable people. Why are they so angry with angel moms? They had their child killed. Stories that are so horrible, I'm not going to mention. A couple of people are in the room. What they did with the child after they murdered the child. It's not even, and these people are actually on the side of the criminal. I don't get it, Tom. Someday, you're going to explain it to me. But I don't think you can either. It's crazy. Laura Wilkerson is another American mom whose 18-year-old son, Joshua was horribly beaten, tortured, and murdered by an illegal alien who went totally crazy. And just went to school. And I'd like to ask Laura to come up and say a few words about Joshua. Please. Hi. One of my original friends.
Thank you so much for having me today. My name is Laura Wilkerson, and I want to thank everybody for their help in gathering us here, the American Border Story and the White House, and all of your helpers. I thank you for that. I met a man about 11 years ago who was running for office, and he sat with us a couple of days, and he watched as the tears rolled down my face as I told him the story of how our youngest son Joshua was brutally beaten, tortured, strangled to death, and his body set on fire. The man next to me was President Trump. He never, ever looked away from my pain. He looked me straight in the eye, and he said, I will never forget the story of your sweet son, and I will never give up fighting for the American family. I looked at him and I believed him. And here we are these years later, and you can tell all of the work he's done. He's never missed a day of fighting for the American family. I don't know if I've ever met a man who is more interested in this country and running his country and getting it back in shape. And I'm so grateful for what he does every single day. I can't even pretend to understand the spiritual battles that swirl around the office of the presidency and the man who owns that office. I would ask that God breathe a fresh breath of air through this administration so that He will calm those spiritual battles and allow our president to continue to do the hard work. Jesus works on my family every day, still healing us today. And I am just so incredibly grateful for the man who's in office, who never quits. He is sidelined so many times, but we know the man, Jesus, who can take care of that. And we pray today in his name that he will sweep through this country and make it right again. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, I just want to thank you. It's amazing. The words are so beautiful, so beautiful. I get introduced often, and I'm getting introduced by people. In many cases, they hate me. And they don't give me nice introductions like that. But all we're doing is the right thing. It's sort of simple, right? It's sort of simple, and but not simple for you. And that's when I was running, actually. That was before I won. I didn't know if I was going to win or not. I was running against 17 politicians. You knew. I knew. Yes. But no, I never forgot that. Jody Jones is a loving brother who's cherished. Sibling Rocky was killed by an illegal alien monster, real monster, who went on a deranged crime spree after being released from prison as part of a California sanctuary city policy. Jody, please come up. Thank you.
Well, I have this speech, but I'm not going to give it. What I'm going to tell you is from my heart. I want to thank my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, first of all, before I do anything. I want to thank the American Border Story, and I absolutely want to thank President Donald J. Trump. Thank you, sir, for putting America first, and putting these angel families first, and letting everybody know their stories, because we matter. Thank you, sir. My brother Rocky Jones was murdered by a criminal illegal alien. He was simply at the wrong place at the wrong time. This man was arrested, released, and within 24 hours, he went on a shooting spree in Central California. Unfortunately, my brother was in the wrong place at the wrong time. This man shot my brother 8 times at point-blank range. I pray that no other family has to go through that. Unfortunately, they will. And just know, President Trump, I want you to know, no matter what the fake media says about you, the American people love you, and we will support you all the time, because we love you. I'm sick and tired of hearing these Democratic politicians stand up on these podiums and say how sorry they are for seeing these criminal illegal aliens being ripped apart from their families. What about us? What about the American family? What about us? We mean something too. And this man right here understands it. I was listening to Grandma cook, and she said thank you to President Trump. And I love that lady. I don't even know her. I just heard her. I just got the fire inside of me. I'm like, wow, that's an American. I love America. I want you guys to understand this. Americans are not racist. We're not xenophobic because we want a safe America and we want to put Americans first. This man's not racist because he wants to put Americans first. Are you kidding me? I know you guys hear it all the time, but we are not. And I'm going to tell you something. I love America. I love Donald Trump. I love my family, and by gosh, I love America. Thank you very much, Donald Trump. President Trump, you are the man. I want to say this. I'm going to end here. I want to say this. I love my country. God bless you. God bless Donald Trump. And God bless America.
incredible. I want to now introduce somebody that I get to know pretty well. We just had a little discussion. Wonderful mothers, Patty Moran, who lost her beautiful daughter Rachel, and Tammy Nobles, who lost her daughter Kayla. Your daughters would be unbelievably proud, and they are as they look down. I'm sure they're looking down. And they'd be very proud of you. They're thanking you right now for your courage. You've gone through a lot. I know you. And I just have to recognize some of the families being there. The families that are here this morning, I know many of them, not all of them. And you know, it grows at a pretty strong level, nothing like it was in the past. You remember when, during the campaign, Biden would say, and then I guess Kamala, it's the same thing. Same ideology, same level of intelligence, I think. But she would say, and he would say, no, it's wonderful to have the people come into our country. These are fine people, these are nice people, and they don't commit crime. And I called Tom home and I said, what's the story on that? Because I think they're really violent. And Tom would say, these are the most violent people in the world. They're coming in. These make our, I remember you said, these make our criminals look like choir boys. And you know what? You were right. You were right. But I want to thank those two people because what they went through. And I want to recognize all of the families here this morning have lost loved ones, a lot of families. Thousands are not here, and they're feeling just the way you do, sad. And continue to fight. You know, they say time helps, but I've seen some people, and the time isn't really not helping that much. Time, they say, it heals all wounds, but it's not. Do you feel better now or the same? You got to feel a little bit better. You got to but it's not like the phrase, wonderful phrase, time heals, like everything's good. Excuse me?
We feel good that you're here now.
Yeah, I know. We'll continue to fight though, and we'll stop this horrible situation, and we have stopped a lot of it. A big thing, you know, you saw that murders are down for the most in 125 years. That's before my father was born in 1905. 5 years before my father was born. My father was great. But, so in 1900, 125 years, the murders, the lowest rate. You know why? Because I closed the borders, and we got a lot of people out. It's not just closing, we got a lot of people out. Washington, D.C. is now a safe. We don't want to close the borders with them. We got a lot of them out, and we got many of the worst ones out. Go for them first. But I want to conclude by reading part of a letter I received earlier this year from two heartbroken grandparents who will never again see their 8-year-old granddaughter after an illegal alien ran her over with his truck purposely. They wrote to me, we are hurting so badly, and now know that the hurting in our family will never go away. It never, ever will go away. We're not seeking notoriety. We don't care about press coverage, but we do want our girl to be remembered. We want people to actually know how preventable this murder was. And lastly, we want the American government to be accountable to its citizens. True. They should be accountable for what they did. That's my administration, and I will tell you, fighting, and we're fighting so hard. All of them, everybody together is fighting. We're putting American citizens first. We're defending American lives, and we're fighting for every angel family. Angel families are beautiful families. They're beautiful families.
I know quite a few of them.
That was my first, early on when we first met, that was my first, I didn't know about angel families, you know. I never did this before, right? I was building buildings and things. But I said, I can't believe it. My first meeting, they were so angry at the press, at a mom who lost her daughter so violently, right? You might have been there. The first meeting, I said, this is strange, what's going on? It was anger from the fake news. But the angel families, I realized very early on, I never changed. I could see how you changed them, you know, you have to go through this stuff. But never changed. I thought they were among the greatest people I've ever met. I've met the heads of countries. A lot of them aren't so nice, but you know, they do have some power. And we've done very well with all of those people. But among the finest people I've ever met are the people in this room and people, many people outside of this room. I know many, many more than just in the room. But we restored our border, and it's now totally secure, and our country is at the safest level it's been in many, many years. How could anyone possibly say we want open borders? Knowing, especially, let's say you did that because you're foolish or stupid or something. And you did it, but after a couple of weeks, you're going to know that the people coming here, if you're running a country, you want to send your bad people out. That was the way I looked at it. I didn't know anything about it. I ran for office, but I have a lot of sense. And I said, well, the open borders is no good because if I'm running the country nearby or far away, I had no idea how far away. They came from the Congo in Africa. They came from all of them, not just South America. Congo let vast numbers, hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of people out of jail. They brought them through Mexico and they dropped them into our country. But you would say that common sense, well, and I said it right from almost the first day. I said, how can you have an open border? All the countries are going to be dropping their prisoners into us. That's exactly what happened. And mental patients and others. So we have a country that's now doing well. We have the greatest economy we've ever had. We have the most activity we've ever had. I'm making a speech tomorrow night, and you'll be hearing me say that. I mean, it's going to be a long speech because we have so much to talk about. But Americans like Lakin and Grant and Javier, Joshua, Rocky, Rachel, Kayla, these are great people, and we're never going to forget them. I'll never forget them. I don't know how long I'll be around. Got a lot of people gunning for me, don't I? But I will not forget them. I'm never going to forget them. And I just think you're among the most brave people. I meet a lot of brave people. I meet warriors. I give out congressional medals of honor. People recommend, like these two in front of me are so wonderful, but they recommend, and I meet the greatest people. But this is a group of people that, for whatever reason, I just feel maybe the warmest about. So at least you have one friend, and we don't understand why you don't have many, and maybe you will. I don't know. So I'm going to go sign the proclamation. And then we're going to sit in the audience. I'm going to sit with you for the reading of the victims' names. And I'll then depart to a song sung by our incredible, talented military, Amazing Grace. Okay? Sound good? Now we can have some of the families come up, some of the people come up. You know who you are. And come on, you can stand around. I don't use an auto pen, so you can watch me actually sign.
I wonder if Agnes gets up there, my friend, or Angie Morphine. She's been at the last signing of stuff, so I'm not sure.
We'll do this the right way. Do you have, I want to give coins to the family, okay? Could I?
have one for you, and I couldn't bring anything inside.
I know, Secret Service. Well, you'll get it to me. Hi, sweetie.
My name is Emma.
Oh, hi, Emma.
Carol.
Very good, beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready, Emma? We're going to sign this, okay?
Okay.
Oh, I hate the sound of frickin' Sharpies. Ugh.
Okay, that's a good one. That's a good one, yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You take care of yourself. You can hold that. At least for a little while.
I'm not taking it.
Thank you. So let's do this candle lighting, and it's very beautiful. Please.
I can't tell you what's in there.
Okay, lay down, Donnie.
We will now light a candle in honor of the victims in solidarity with their families. Following the lighting of the candle, the names of the victims will be read aloud so that their memory may be honored.
Donnie, come on.
Katie Abraham. Chad Eistrup. Austin Babcock. Megan Elizabeth Ida Boz. Jesse Bird. Liam Cantu. Michael Clayton. Gail Clayton. Sander Cohen. Piers Corcoran. Ronald De Silva.
That's
Jackson Davis.
Agnes' son.
Christopher James De Leon. Joseph Di Tommaso. Marshall Dova. Brady English. Shaylee Estes. Lacey Marie Ferguson. Maura Garrity. Tristan Gray. Kayla Hamilton. Aaron Joshua Hampton. Brady Hiling. Susan Hine. Haley Helgeson. Kyler Holbein. Gregory Hamala. Gabriel Kaleshi Isiguzo Jr. Rocky Paul Jones. Shane Jones. Stephanie Kaufman. Haley King. Amy Courtlang. Ryan White. Brian Moss. Robert Mopin. Lisbeth Medina. Brandon Mendoza. Brandon Michael. Dominic Montoya. Jonathan Moody Jr. Ruben Morfin.
That's Angie's son.
Rachel Morin.
I forget her mom's name.
Krisha Odette. Nikolay Osokin. Rocco Pitro. Lakin Riley. Grant Ronnebeck. Matthew Russell. Kayla Santiago. Danielle Nikki Shermock. Fred Schlosser. Tiara Stansberry. Kate Steinley. Joseph Story. Timmy Tarnowski. Brian Terry. Anya Varfolomeyev. Javier Vega Jr. Joshua Aaron Wilkerson. Carlos Wolf. Joseph Zhang Jr.
Thank you, everybody, very much.
That was awesome. So now every February 22nd is going to be Angel Family Day. You know, he was talking about when he first learned about angel families. When was the first time you guys had learned about angel families? I remember when I did. It was back in December 2018, and Ben Berkwan called me up and he's like, "Eddie, we gotta go film something down at the border." He's all, "You coming with me?" And I was like, "Heck yeah!" And so I remember we hopped in his car and we drove through the middle of the night, and we stopped at a truck stop, and we met up with Angie Morphine, who was there today, and he was like, "Yeah, well, we're picking up Angie, and then we're gonna go stay the night at her daughter's or her niece's house." I think it was her niece's house. You know, it was pretty. It wasn't. I mean, it wasn't that late when we got there, but still, it was pretty late for us. And so we drove there. We stayed at her niece's house. Then the next day, we drove all the way down to the border. And I remember we didn't have a podium. I did everything I can to go find a podium because we thought there was going to be a podium, and there was no podium. So we went and rented one. We had to run a sound system because the people that were supposed to bring it didn't bring it. It was a pretty crazy day. And I just found, I was trying to find a video, but I found the post on Frontline America. Maybe the video got taken down or something. You know how much that happens with us. So this was that day. It was December 16th, 2018. And so there's Agnes. This was the first day I ever met Agnes. And I got to say, you know, we left when we were leaving. It was right before Christmas. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, Eddie, you know, honey, did you get one of my Christmas cards?" And I was like, "You know, I'm sorry, I didn't." And so Agnes goes running to her vehicle, comes back out, gives me a big, huge hug, a Christmas card, and some of her pens and with their phone number and stuff. And she's like, "Eddie, you call me whenever you need to." And Agnes has actually become like a mother, you know, a second mother to me. And Angie Morphine, she's just so amazing and stuff. You know, two great women that I got introduced to thanks to Ben. But these are some of the photos from that day. Actually, I think these are all my photos from that day because we were filming it too. So yeah, we hosted it that day right at the border. It was pretty crazy. Then after this event, we all went to, well, not, some of us, we went down to the border, and where we parked, you had to walk a mile on the beach. And it was Ben and Paloma. You know who Paloma for Trump is? I know a lot of people are upset with her now. I don't know what the story is behind that. But Ben and Paloma dragged me down the beach for a mile in the sand in my wheelchair. Ben was sweating so bad, you know. I felt bad for him, but there was no way I could walk it. And so we got there, and then Ben, he's like, "Hold on, I know some Border Patrol agents." So he went up to the Border Patrol agents and got the Border Patrol agents to drive myself, Angie, and I forget this lady's name. They put the three of us in a Border Patrol truck, and I got to drive in the back of a Border Patrol truck along the border where nobody normally gets to go. It was pretty cool that day. And that's when I got to meet that's when I found out what an angel mom is. See, there I am right there. Long time ago. Well, there's Paloma. And this was when we were walking to the border. All the people walked with us. It was a good day. You know, we spread the word out for angel moms. And then so let's see, Agnes posted some stuff just now because Agnes was there, and so did Angie Morphine. So let's see what they posted from today because Agnes was there. So this is a picture of when her and her son, you know, like I said, Ronald, that was her son, Ronald Da Silva. And then I know she posted pictures. Oh no, it was Angie who posted the pictures. Oh no, here's some from 6 hours ago. So it says the president requests the pleasure of your company at the Angel Families Remember celebrate ceremony to be held on the White House on Monday, February 23rd at 10 o'clock. So that was her with Christy Nome, Ben and Tom Homan and Agnes. That was them signing it. She was sitting she was sitting real close to Christy Nome and stuff. But you know what the worst part is? CNN refused to show this today. CNN refused to show it. Yeah. See Ronald Da Silva right there. That's Agnes's son. Wow, look how nice it looks in there. Well, they got a tour of the White House too, I guess. See, there's that lady as well too. I can't remember. Her son was an officer. Her son was an officer who died. Pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. It looks cold out there. Yeah, they took a picture with some cool people. Nice pictures, Agnes. Nice pictures. And Angie posted some too, so let's look up Angie. And I saw Angie posted them too as well. So that was when they were all in the Oval Office together. Long time ago. Let's see, where's the picture that Angie posted today? Here's Angie's pictures. In fact, on Friday, I'm going. Angie and I are staying at the hotel together. We're going to Disneyland over the weekend, so you'll see Angie with myself today later on this month. Oh my gosh, she got to meet Carolyn Levitt. I don't know why I can't remember this young lady's name. I made the video for it. I gotta find the video. Unless that's one of the videos the FBI still has. But great photos. Great photos. All right. I guess let's get to the news, huh? Shall we get to the news? Yeah? What do you guys think? You know, if you guys don't know, we have a great president. If you don't know, now you know. Now you know. Okay, here we go. Let's see what's on. There's not much. I don't know if I have that much in the news today. So here's a satisfying video of a cheerleading demonstrating. Fuck around and find out. Let's see what's going on here.
Well, when your cardio is crap and you've had way too many little Debbie snacks
What's
for
an Inman?
it's probably not wise to sucker punch a cheerleader who is now punching her way into a victory. It's nothing but a punch.
Well, she's kicking that chick's ass, isn't she?
Take a quick look at the replay. Sucker punches are for bitches, and you can see that she...
You know, she took on somebody a lot larger than her and kicked her ass, so go cheerleader. Go cheerleader. All right, breaking news. Jeffrey Epstein stashed secret files in storage units across the United States that may include never-before-seen evidence. I can only imagine what's going to be in there. I hope they find them all. I hope they find them all. It's going to be some great stuff. Oh, you know, I want to do a search real quick. So there is Christian County today. A deputy was shot and killed. And one of the shows that I watched called On Patrol Live, they are from there. So I wanted to see what's going on. What's up, Gavin? What's up, Gavin? Let's see. So the deputy was fatally shot. Suspect who shot and killed Christian County identified as this guy. He's not very tall. He's only 5'4". A short dude. He's got some short man syndrome. Did they say which deputy was killed, though, I wonder? Nope, they're still just saying a deputy. What's up, Gavin? And by the way, folks, I may, depending on how the service is, be live streaming from Disneyland this weekend too, with Angie and Linda and my friends. Our Democrats are actively working to sabotage the Save America Act to block voter ID because they know that's how they cheat and they don't want to get caught anymore.
Yeah, the Democrats have been doing everything possible to ensure that elections are not secure. And then at the same time, they're saying that President Trump is trying to steal the midterms, which is obviously false. But the point is that when you have an entire party that's depending on open illegal advocacy and basically wanting to give mass amnesty to over 20 million illegal immigrants here in this country, you can see who their voting base is, right? Because we know that Democrats as a whole are actually very supportive of the Save America Act. And so what we're going to be doing, and I think President Trump was very clear about this, and you'll probably hear about it at the State of the Union, but voter ID is a must pass. It's going to secure our elections. It is a non-negotiable.
We're going to be streaming it live.
Leader Thune has a very big decision to make. Is he going to do the right thing and embrace a standing filibuster, or is he going to deny the American people? And there's other ways to get around this. We could put this in FISA, which is a must-pass reauthorization, but I do not believe that Democrats want to secure elections, and it's for reasons that I think people can put two and two together on. Okay.
First State of the Union. What time is he doing a State of the Union at? Doesn't say what time. Capitol Tuesday at 9 p.m. So 6 p.m. our time is when it's going to be. Tuesday at 9 p.m. Okay, so that's when the State of the Union is going to be. So we're going to live stream it tomorrow. We're going to live stream it. Our United States Air Force fueling planes have arrived in Israel at Ben Gurion Airport. One thing is certain: if there's a strike, the Middle East will be a powder keg. Yeah, they're not fucking around, are they? They're giving, I don't know, I think it's going to happen after the State of the Union address. What do you guys think? I think it's going to happen right after the State of the Union address. He's just going to go up there and just wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Thanks to the open primaries in North Carolina, Republicans get to choose from an Islamic Democrat in their primary and 2 Democrats in the general election, because the Democrat is running as a Republican so they can get the Republican side. That's what's going on. Republicans need to get serious about closing their primaries, right? Muslim Democrat running unopposed in the North Carolina GOP primary. North Carolina's primary rules allow roughly 40% of voters to choose either party's ballot and permit registered Democrats to switch to a Republican primary 25 days before Election Day. So Lakeisha Alston is running as a Republican in Senate District 22. She will face Democrat Sophia Chitlick. Let's see what's going on here.
I am a Republican. I know that I have been seeing a lot of people with hesitation about the party that I choose to represent, just because, you know, growing up, you pretty much do what your family does, what, you know, their beliefs are as far as your party. But like I said, I am matured in
oh yeah, it's going crazy below the border. I got some of that too.
The Republican Party
definitely going crazy,
and it looks like me. And just the ideology, the ideology of the Democratic Party. I just have gotten away from some of those narratives, and I feel that the Republicans have a better viewpoint in which the direction that the United States and
shut up, bitch. You know why? You know why? You couldn't win on the Democrat side in the primary, so you wanted to make it to the next step so you can get some more campaign money that you can abuse. So you decided to run as a Republican because nobody was running on the Republican side, which I don't get. Why is there no running for a Republican in North Carolina in that district? I don't get it. Cartel is gonna F up bad. The State Department has issued warning about United States citizens being kidnapped in the Puerto Vallarta area. I've been in contact with President Trump's administration and said they're monitoring the situation very closely. So they said there's a risk of high violence, battles between criminal groups. So it's CTIG, is that what it is? CTIG? But it says shootings between these groups have injured or killed innocent bystanders. U.S. citizens and lawful permanent residents have been kidnapped. So shit's about to go down. If I hear that if they, like they said, if they kidnap an American citizen, that well, it's not going to go very well, and President Trump is going to step in. I mean, their president is going nuts. Going nuts. Okay, don't try robbing a business in Texas. We've had enough, and we'll say, whoa, let's see what this is.
Pew pew! Humble, Texas, can we get a come on down, please? All right, so a Hood News Peep is working, and a customer just left, and some crash dummies are about to attempt to rob the store. Just wait for it. You're gonna love this.
Attempt.
Oh,
shit! He hit him. How come that guy's...
If you fuck around, you're gonna find out in the great state of Texas. Keep it moving, motherfuckers. Hold on. Did this son of a biscuit eater come in with a crowbar to a gunfight? Psh. Hard-working people have had enough. We're not trying to get robbed every time.
This is fake. You know why I think this is fake? Look, there's no blood trail. He got shot. Let's go in slow motion here. Dude got shot, right? There's no blood trail, none of that. Let's go in slow motion. Let's see how fake this thing is. Let's go half speed.
Son of a biscuit eater.
So he got hit right there.
Come in with a crowbar to a gunfight.
Either that or the dude completely missed every single time. What do you guys think? Did you see my evil clone try to relate black folks by saying I'm like you, I can't read either? Yes, I did, and I'm pretty sure we had that coming up. I'm pretty sure we had that coming up. Why did you say that, bro? Why would you say that to black people? That's just messed up. That's just so messed up. I don't know, was that video fake? Let's see what the comments say. I think it's fake. I really do. I didn't see any blood afterwards, you know. I don't know. I think it was fake. All right. Former UK ambassador to the US, Peter Mandelson, arrested after Epstein's file release exposed his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. The arrest is on suspicion of misconduct while in public office. This follows a search warrant at 2 addresses of Wiltshire and Camden areas. You're in trouble. You know why? Democrats will be Democrats, yeah? You guys suck. Go away, Democrats. You know, I was thinking, what if we only had one party? And then I started to realize, well, even if we only had one party, there's still going to be people saying, well, those people over there don't want, I'm going to give you free health care and free this, right? So there's no way of avoiding it at all. So if you don't know, New York asked people to help with the snow by shoveling, and they would pay them, I think, like 17 or something bucks an hour, right? And then in order to get the job, you have to show not 1, but 2 proof of identification. And so now they're checking some Donnie, and let's hear his response.
Federal law requires that employers get authorization and documentation to pay people for their work. We are not allowed to just cut checks to individuals for their work. This is all long-standing. This is a long-standing program and long-standing requirements, and this is a way that New Yorkers get paid to shovel snow in assistance with the city's response to a winter storm event. These are the policies that we've had in place, but I understand that for many, it's the first time that they've ever heard about it.
Oh my God, you mean you have to get an ID to go to work for you guys, but not to vote? Insane. Just insane. Aren't those slave wages in New York City? Yeah, I think it is. I don't know what their minimum wage is right now. I really don't. So, remember Rob Reiner and his wife who got shot by their son? Well, their son went to court today, and he pled not guilty to first-degree murder. And, I mean, that's what happens anyways, right? Nobody, when it comes to charges like that, you always take the risk of going to court and see what happens there. So, hey, look, there you are, Gavin. What are you saying now? Spencer Pratt's lawsuit over the Palisades fire dereliction of duty is allowed to proceed. Discovery is imminent. Newsom can't stop me after fighting his corrupt governor. We got the green light. Let's see what this is all about.
And I also understand the critique. I do.
Can we fast forward to where we are now? It's a related topic. You said that after the last election, 2024, that it's deeply unfair for transgender athletes to participate in girls' sports, which many in your party, including some potential
He's saying it because he wants to run for president.
Rivals disagreed with.
Yeah.
In 2020, it was a litmus test for Democrats. In 2024, it was a wedge issue that you called devastating. Is this one of those things that you're trying to lead your party on?
No, it's just I got a direct question from Charlie Kirk, and I'm on my podcast. Wanted to understand why he and Turning Point USA were so successful turning out the vote of young men for Donald Trump. And I think success leaves clues. And so we had a direct engagement, and he asked me about a specific incident in California that occurred 2 years prior and one that was happening in real time in terms of the state track championship. And he described the conditions, and I said, no, that's deeply unfair because it took away the opportunity for another athlete to succeed. And I said that, and I believe that. And it's not out of an indictment to the trans community, quite the contrary, and a record that can back that up, a record that is, that I'm attacked for, my advocacy for the community. But I do think it's a very different issue, the sports.
It's a different issue. And what lesson do you take from that as somebody who's trying to make sure that Democrats, maybe even you, win?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's, from a tactical perspective, from the prism of purely politics, there's no doubt that the Democratic Party needs to be, dare I say, more culturally normal. I believe that. Less prone to spending disproportionate amount of time on pronouns, identity, politics. More focused on tabletop
I don't even want to think about that.
Really matter, the stacking of stress in terms of electricity bills and child care costs and health care and obviously housing costs, and how easily we get trapped in that. How I've fallen prey to that. I mean, here I was, way out front on marriage equality. So I understand this from both on the receiving end of this and on the front end of this, leading the pack. So I think there has to be some consideration.
Dude, you're a joke.
But I think if you can't hold the line on competitive sports, again, sports, there's some nuance in this larger conversation. But competitive medal sports, if we can't find that nuance.
By the way, so like I have I started with today's news, but then I'm going to go back to the weekend's news because there was actually a lady that was on CNN, and they asked her about women in or men and women's sports, and she's some highly recognized person, and she was kind of quiet, and then she's like, and I think they asked her, what would you say to what's the dude that plays volleyball that was running track that Josh went to and messed around with? And got on the news for for pepper spraying them or something. But anyway, so that they said, what would you say to her? And of course, CNN says her, right? And the lady says, well, I would tell him that unfortunately, you can't just change to being a woman, and you can't play in women's sport. I'll find it. I know I have it. It's in the list. Right.
We're going to lose a lot of people we're not going to get invited in a larger conversation.
Yeah,
so I do think we have to be more sensitive in that respect.
I do want to ask you about President Trump, because you talk in this book about meeting him for the first time in person. You were governor.
Yeah, whatever, lady. Who is that? Yeah, that's CNN too, isn't it? So I got that coming up. It's going to be great. I got to find it. I think it was from yesterday's news. I don't know why. I just love watching these videos where dumbass people try and follow ICE around.
They are seriously attacking me.
We'll call 911 right now.
Yep.
What's your location?
Call 911. I'm right at the corner of Jefferson.
So you can tell she's in the group chat or voice chat of whatever, group chat they have in her area. And well, we'll call 911 for you right now.
No, I will not. I will not get out of the car.
Dumbass.
No. I will not get out of the car. You guys, I need CEOs here now.
Get out of the car.
No, I will not get out of the car.
Get out of the car.
Get your hands off of me. Get your hands off me. Get your hands off me.
Dude, I wish we could see it.
I am not doing I am observing. I am
fuck around and find
I
out.
think someone needs to call 911.
I really wish I could have seen what happened. What, don't you? Probably some white, blonde-haired liberal chick. Be my guess. That's what would be my guess. All right, Governor Gavin Newsom just pardoned an illegal alien who was convicted for attempted murder and assault with a firearm. You can't make this shit up. How do you write his book if you can't read? Thanks to Governor Newsom's pardon, this alien may now reopen immigration proceedings rather than be removed from the U.S. and will be able to remain in California communities. You just can't make this shit up. See what this says. I can't really read it. It's too blurry. Let me see. Nope, I can't do it on this program. Fucking Gavin Newsom. What a fucking douchebag. What a douchebag. Let's pardon illegal aliens who will try to kill people in the United States. All right, so the military just blew up another boat. Let's watch it again. They're blowing up boats like crazy, these narco-terrorists. Bam! Like, do they tell him to stop and then kill him? Or I wonder what's going on with that. Let's see, what do we got here? Tim Burchett. We're going to hear Dad Gum a couple times.
With Congressman Tim Burchett. He's from the 2nd District, Tennessee, and he has an op-ed in Knox News, a local online publication, and he writes, after 7 years in Washington, I've seen the corruption that earned this town its nickname, the Swamp. But it's really more of a sewer. The list is long, but one problem stands out right now: congressional stock trading. He writes also that unlike Wall Street or the federal agencies that regulate it, there are no real restrictions on Congress when it comes to conflict of interest with regard to stock trading.
You mean like Kevin Kiley?
Can you unpack that for us?
And honestly, if they're that good at picking stocks, they need to leave Washington and go to Wall Street.
I think you guys are getting
maybe
a step or two closer to a ban, right?
Well, not exactly. To me, it's sort of a drawbridge approach. You know, we got ours, now we're going to close it up behind us. And also it ties the hands of folks like myself who don't have a large investment. You have somebody in Congress with a 30 or 40 or maybe a $50 million portfolio, and they're going to be allowed to keep all those stocks. And so they're going to, surely if they're making decisions and investment strategies due to, so that they can buy stocks, surely those same people are going to make some of those same adjustments to make the stocks that they have increase in value. And I love the sponsor. I think the intentions are good, but I don't think that that's the route we need to go. I think you need to if you're going to do it, just ban it. It's a complete honor to be in Congress. More people have played professional baseball than have been members of the United States Congress in our country. So I just don't see that as the route to go. That's why my bill was very simple. It just said, after a certain date, you can't buy any stocks and you have to sell what you have and put them all in a mutual fund. I got a buddy of mine, Tommy Seiler. He did a really good job with my $11,000 portfolio, but now my daughter's going, thing that passes in the House will pass in the Senate, or they won't even bring it up. I think if they do bring something up, they'll change it and it'll be a completely different bill. And then the clock will run out and nothing will happen.
You know what you got to do, Tim?
And then all the extremely wealthy members of Congress will be.
You got to hide it in the middle of a big, huge bill.
Nice beach somewhere, toasting each other's goodwill and their good fortune.
Very good. Congressman Tim Burchett, thank you very much. Good.
That's what you got to do, Burchett. Stick it in the middle of some really thick bill, and hopefully they don't read it right. That's what you got to do, folks. Only way to do it. If you want something good to go away or to get going. So it says, numerous stories from the fake news media have been circulating stating that General Daniel Kane, sometimes referred to as Razin, is against us going to war with Iran. The story does not attribute the vast wealth of knowledge to anyone and is 100% incorrect. General Kane, like all of us, would like not to see war. But if a decision is made ongoing against Iran at a military level, it is his opinion that it will be something easily won. He knows Iran well in that he was in charge of Midnight Hammer, the attack on the Iranian nuclear development. As a development no longer, but rather was blown to smithereens by our great B-2 bombers. Razin Kane is a great fighter and represents the most powerful military anywhere in the world. He has not spoken of not doing Iran or even fake limited strikes that I have been reading about. He only knows one thing, how to win, and if he is told to do so, he will be leading the pack. Everything that has been written about a potential war with Iran has been written incorrectly, and purposely so. I am the one that makes that decision. I would rather have a deal than not. But if we don't make a deal, it'll be a very bad day for the country, and very sadly its people. Because they are great and wonderful, and something like this should never happen to them. President Donald J. Trump. Yeah, I don't think it's too much of a worry, you know. I mean, I hear all of our ships and planes are over there right now. So, President Trump warns Iran if you don't make the deal, it's going to be a very bad day for that country. Also said he'd much rather have a deal than war. So this is the these are the B-2 bombers taken off from Missouri. They're all stationed in Missouri. So they're leaving Missouri and heading to the Middle East if they're not already there. If they're not already there. B-2 bombers are pretty cool. Pretty cool things. All right, Chuck Schumer just had a major meltdown live on the Senate floor after he realized SCOTUS actually allowed President Trump to levy new tariffs. All right, I you know, they always say this, major meltdown. Let's see if he really did or not. What do you guys think? Is it going to be a major meltdown?
Quorum? We're not. Mr. President, Americans breathed a brief sigh of relief last week when the Supreme Court knocked out Trump's harmful tariff proposals. Americans are suffering because Donald Trump is raising tariffs. People pay more for so many daily goods, so many groceries, for cars, for homes, for everything. And the American people hate the tariffs because they...
Can somebody explain to me how tariffs are raising the price of homes? It doesn't go, homes aren't shipped across countries.
Oh, it's raising their costs. And so, for a brief moment, there was a sigh of relief that you heard from one end of America to the other, because the Supreme Court correctly said the president can't raise tariffs on emergency basis, only the Congress can. But Donald Trump, who is in a bubble, has no understanding of what the American people need, feel, or want, reimposed the tariffs right away, and then he one-upped it, doubled down on it, and raised them again.
Yep.
And now Americans are back in the same position they were before the court decision. Higher prices, more inflation, harder to afford things, harder to pay the bills.
You notice how he's not saying, well, you know, he wouldn't have raised them if we didn't file this lawsuit and waste his time, and that's why he doubled down to kind of piss us off even more. Why don't you take the blame for that, Chucky?
A good chunk of that increase, the difficulty in paying the bills, is because of Trump's tariffs. Democrats will not stand for it. And in fact, the new tariff regime that Trump put in must expire in a few months and needs Congress's approval. I am here to tell Donald Trump and the American people we will not extend those tariffs, and they will expire in a few months.
Not even a quorum.
And hopefully then Republicans will join us in not allowing Trump to raise tariffs, which so raise costs for the American people. Tariffs are highly unpopular among Democrats,
well, yeah, new
houses, and
but I'm talking about, he didn't say
Donald
new houses,
Trump
he said houses.
Does not understand the burdens he is imposing on American families, but we Democrats do. And we will do everything we can to stop these odious tariffs that are causing so much harm, so much pain on American families. I yield the floor.
Does he not realize that what the tariffs are going to cause more companies to move here, right? So they don't have to pay the tariff, which is then is going to create more jobs. So then there's going to be more people spending money, which is going to greatly affect the economy and make the economy better and make prices go down. Either that or wages are going to go up enough to where it all evens out. But you know, they don't want to talk about that part. They just want to do anything against what President Trump does. Oh, that's true about the comp prices. Okay. That's true. Okay, I didn't think about it that way, right? When you fill news with hate and social media with violence, you get this. Oh, wait, did they take the video down now? They must have. Yep, they took the video down. Son of a... I kind of knew that was going to happen. Kind of knew that was going to happen. Oh, well. Moving to the next one. So Jesse Watchers just obliterated Jesla Karloff. Let's see. Yeah, they're all pissed. They're all pissed that Patel was over there at the Olympics watching, right? They didn't say anything about Whitmer from Wisconsin, Michigan over there, right?
Nice try. It's honestly the deflection on this. Cash Patel administration are flying all over the place on government-funded jets. That is on our dime.
Like Hunter Biden?
Nice try. It's honestly the deflection on this. Cash Patel went after Christopher Wray, saying he doesn't need to go on a G5 jet to go on vacation. It's $15K every time that he goes. He's been under scrutiny for going to visit his girlfriend. Gavin. He goes to Vegas, I think, 9 times. And the taxpayer angle thing matters. And then also that he said we're going to focus on Nancy Guthrie.
$100 trillion.
It doesn't
you don't
matter,
care
Jesse.
about the taxpayer.
That's every day now you just say you don't care. Nancy Guthrie is missing. A guy was arrested trying to shoot up Mar-a-lago.
Nancy Guthrie.
Just bagged 6 of the 10 FBI most wanted. Okay. And crime is down to levels not seen since 1900. How about thank you? He deserves a beer.
Including the Sean Ryans of the world, if they think that Cash Patel is doing a good job executing the things he said he was going to do, just ask them. Okay. I know you love him.
I'm going to have the 5
administration
are
flying all over the place.
Shut up. You know, but in order to be fair, they got to have a Democrat on the panel, right? But I don't know if it's this one or the next one is going to have Gutfield messing with her too. No, what's the next one? All right, so get this. Chinese satellite imagery reportedly shows every United States Navy littoral combat ship has left port in Bahrain alongside a departing Arleigh Burke-class destroyer. The imagery remains unverified. Bahrain is home to the U.S. 5th Fleet headquarters. The LCS ships stationed there handle mine countermeasures and anti-submarine warfare, while the Burke-class destroyers provide air and missile defense and strike capability. A full clearing of the berths is notable, even if individual ship movements are routine for 5th Fleet patrols. This follows reports of V-22 Ospreys landing near the USS Gerald R. Ford carrier strike group and the USS Winston S. Churchill transitioning eastward through the Mediterranean. The Ford is en route to join the Abraham Lincoln, which would put 2 carrier strike groups in the region simultaneously. No public indicators of imminent strike. But dispersing ships from a concentrated port reduces their vulnerability to Iranian missiles and drones. And the broader pattern of repositioning from destroyers to air assets to carrier groups reflects a level of preparedness that goes beyond routine deterrence. Yeah. I think Iran is fucking around and they're going to find out, aren't they? Because America don't play. Justin, Greg Gutfeld pummels Gavin Newsom for insinuating black people are dumb. So these are always good.
Where's my notes? Oh, here it is. We've had so many identity groups that we're running out of them. And I think, whether it's gays, trans, blacks, Latinx, Asian Pacific Islanders, it was time for the polys, people of limited intelligence. And I think that's what he decided. The polys are rising up. They're rising up. They're tired of all the smart people. And his strategy is, I'm just like you. I'm stupid. And this is his way of subverting his reputation as a silver-spooned elitist. But it says something that's worse, I think. It says, I got this far despite my bad grades, despite my laziness, despite my womanizing. I am a true elitist because whenever this rich kid partied too much, got kicked out at wherever, mommy and daddy pulled strings. I'm the rich white guy that didn't have to work that hard. I look at my SATs, the number is rarely more than me just signing my name. I think you get, what, 600 for that? I don't know. It's stupid signaling. We used to have virtue signaling. Now we have stupid signaling. And so the thing is that him being dim is a sign of depth, which is insulting to the audience, right? I would never do that. I compliment the audience by expecting them to keep up with me. I will not dumb anything down unless, of course, Kill Meat is on.
You have to.
Then you have to. You have no choice.
Yeah, he's getting...
There you go. I thought he was going to mess with her, though. Oh, well. All right, so this is this weekend stuff. We now learn that Schumer and Jeffries, post-conviction, were still asking this guy Epstein for money, which sounds about right.
Well, he seemed like a guy that wanted to be around famous people, Bill Gates among them. I mean, I'm not sure if you're going to bring him in, but I guess what frustrates me is because Democrats, we've now learned that Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, at post-conviction, with his local conviction in the state of Florida, they were still asking this guy for money. And, for all the talk about Donald Trump 25 years ago, or around 25 years ago, he threw this guy out of the Mar-a-Lago club, which in, society in Palm Beach is a big deal, and did it publicly. He humiliated him. If the guy had anything incriminating on Donald Trump, I'm sure we would have heard about it a long, long time ago, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly right. That's what all the former attorneys general have said, Bill Barr and Merrick Garland and everyone. If there had been any dirt on Donald Trump, that would have leaked out because Donald Trump has that many enemies in the Department of Justice, in the deep state apparatuses that were supposed to be investigating Epstein. So with respect to Trump, I don't think there's anything there. And I think that if you look at Epstein and who the real bad people were, the real bad people were the ones who continued to communicate with Epstein after he was convicted the first time. And that's where the real bad behavior took place. That's where you have to really question anyone that was ever around Epstein. If you continue to associate with Epstein and Maxwell post the conviction in 2010, then you have some questions that need to be answered. And we're looking at what the Department of Justice did. That's one of the things I've been doing, going into the Department of Justice, looking at the unredacted version of the documents. Who all has the Department of Justice questioned before?
Yeah. We'll take our money, right? Oh, why aren't you releasing the Epstein files? Are you sure you want it? Because you're in there, bro. You're in there. Oh, big stretch, huh, Donnie? All right, Tim Burchett goes off. Let's see what's going off on now. There's got to be a dadgummit in this one.
Hey, everybody, Tim Burchett. I saw where Mitch McConnell was blocking the SAVE Act this morning. I think it's partially just out of meanness. He doesn't like Trump. And Trump got him in office. Sadly enough, he helped him in that last race extensively. And that's one thing I value in this game is loyalty, and apparently he doesn't. But he's blocking the SAVE Act. Or is he? Is it him or a staff member? Because, as you know, he's a lot like Joe Biden was in his last few days in office, or last years in office. Last 4 years, really, his cognizant level is diminishing daily. I've always remembered we had a chairman of a committee, and I asked in committee, in our conference meeting, I asked if how much money was in this bill, and she responded, I don't know. Next question. And I said, no, how much money is in this dadgum bill?
There's a
dadgum.
dadgum.
The staffers were like, you can't be asking that. You can't be asking that. Well, dadgummit, this thing ain't supposed to be some retirement village. It's supposed to be the United States Congress and the Senate. But here's what it's turned into. And it is wrong. You've got staffers that are running this thing. The lady that I asked those questions of, it turns out for over 6 weeks, she never showed up and nobody knew where she was. But her staff kept running the office. And she was in a retirement village for people that were in cognizant decline, to put it lightly. And that's what's going on in Washington. You've got these staffers, again, that are too close to the lobbyists, too close to whatever, and they're running the show. And it needs to stop. I've called it out. I've called it out to our leadership, and they do nothing about it. But this is where we're at. The SAVE Act is stopped because Mitch McConnell. And he's got a staffer that's running his show, not him. So,
what do you think? What do you guys think? I don't doubt it.
It's a pitiful state. You need to get a hold of our leadership and let them know this cannot continue. Cannot continue. Thank y'all for sending me here.
I don't doubt. I really don't doubt what he's saying about some staffer running it. I mean, the dude. How many times has he fallen down and fainted in office now? In the last month or two? It's just insane. All right, President Trump is considering a rule to dramatically restrict work permits granted to asylum seekers. Why are asylum seekers getting work yet?
In Del Rio, under that international bridge, we were doing live shots there every day. I was at the border in 2021 when thousands of these Haitians were showing up. We all remember these viral images in Del Rio under that international bridge. We were doing live shots there every day. 15,000 Haitians showed up in a 3-day span, set up camps there. These were the early months of the Biden administration. More than 12,000 of them ended up getting released into the country. And it didn't end there, Sandra. These are the images our viewers saw on TV. What they didn't see off screen was this. I was talking to a bunch of these Haitians. They weren't even coming directly from Haiti. So many of them told us they had been living in Chile for years. And these are their Chilean ID cards that they were tossing on the ground when they crossed the river into the U.S., ditching it all because they didn't want American authorities to know they had resettled in another country before coming to the U.S. to ask for asylum. So, Sandra, it was kind of frustrating to watch. You know, everybody was called an asylum seeker, but we were down there collecting all these discarded documents. A lot of fraud going on when it comes to these so-called asylum seekers.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible when you think about Kristi Noem and what Tom Homan has been saying about how organized and cleaned up this situation has gotten, that you forget what it looked like. And that is certainly, Bill, to your point, a reminder. I mean, that was just 4.5, 5 years ago.
Yeah, and hard to believe. I mean, the sector that Kristi Noem is speaking in today is the Tucson, Arizona sector. December 2023, we were out there every day. It was getting 4,000 crossings every single day. Now it's down to like 10 to 20 a day, and they're all getting caught.
Incredible. Bill, thank you for that reminder.
And you know it's working because, you know, our border is closed down because of all of our grifters are not down at the border now begging for money. Oh, look, I came to the border. I need money to pay for my expenses to come down here and film this for you. Oh, you know what? We'll do that one later. We'll do this one later because it's an hour long. We already did an hour-long video today. All right, President Trump is setting the midterm agenda with real populist wins. Let's see what they got to say here. With Maria.
I think that he's really going to help set the messaging leading into the midterms. I'm feeling that he might talk about, you know, the filibuster, the Save America Act, obviously what he's been doing with capping prescription prices, and then also to banning insider trading. You know, when we first came on the show a couple months ago and talked about this being a massive issue within Congress and wanting to root out the government corruption that currently exists, insider trading is, again, one of these issues that is largely supported by the American people. And I think for so many years, the president has been taking incoming from the media, and they really try to spin everything that he does. But it's going to be interesting to see them try to tell the American people why banning insider trading is terrible because President Trump is pushing it. And I think that you'll find that his speech now, especially because, you know, we are going into the midterms, will activate the base, but also to will have follow through and wins for the American people. And so I'm looking forward to it. Very happy about what he's doing with his economic populism. And I think another thing to remember is that capping prescription pricing, something that he pushed with the favored nations billing and pricing for it. I think that that's incredibly important. People forget that. But again, this is about codifying what he's done to ensure that it can't be undone in the next administration.
You can have Maria. I'll take Luna. You don't know what his channel is called? Neither do I. You know, and I got, you know what? Hold on, wait a minute. I think let me look. Do I still have his phone number? Let me see if I still have his phone number. Recent. Or not recent contacts. Anthony. Yep, I do. Oh, no. That's not his. No, I don't have his still. I think I have Oscar's, though. Oscar's the cool one. Oscar Blue. All right, so let's go to YouTube and let's see. Do you know what his channel was, girl? Anthony Aguero? Anthony Aguero. Well, it's called Anthony Aguero Live. He's only got 12,000 followers. Let's see, videos. He hasn't done a video since last month. And then a year, so he's not even doing anything. Unless maybe he's on Rumble. Could he be on Rumble? Maybe he got kicked off of YouTube. Let's see. Anthony Aguero. He's got 2 of them. And they're both 2 years ago. Yeah, he's not doing videos anymore. Yeah, we're talking about Anthony Aguero from San Antonio. I mean, El Paso. Yeah, it doesn't look like he's doing anything. Border News, you thought, Graw? Let's see. Last time there was a video was over a year ago there, too. Yeah, last time there was a video there. You know what? Let's go to X and let's see. Search. I don't know. The last time I talked to him was actually Ty called him one day when we were on a trip. He's like, "You want to go meet up with Anthony?" I was like, "No." He's like, "We should go hang out with him, Eddie." I was like, "Nope." I said, "You can, but not me." Oh, he's posting on X. Who was he on? Oh, he was on Lindell TV. He's got an X, but that's about it looks like. Does it say his channel? Oh, at tabs, the American Border Story. It looks like that's where he is. I have more followers than him, though, on X. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Yo no sé. All right, so here's some more news from the weekend. Oh, yeah, this is insane. This is insane. An 11-year-old boy shot his adoptive father. So this man adopted him because his Nintendo was taken away. He took the kid's Nintendo away, so he shot his adopted father.
What happened that night? How are you holding up, Clayton?
So it says, Clayton Diaz's parents told him to go to bed after midnight. He got mad and went looking for his Nintendo Switch in the gun safe. He found the keys instead and found the revolver next. Then he shot his father, Douglas Dietz, 42. Pennsylvania is charging him as an adult with criminal homicide, and he appeared in court today in handcuffs. Holy shit, how old is this? 11 years old. Over a Nintendo Switch. Over a Nintendo fucking Switch. Let's watch this story. Dude, oh yeah, so this...
being class.
So this story here is about, they had an ICE protest at this local school. And the kid with special needs and 11 years old. And the teachers and all the kids just left him behind. And he didn't know what to do, so he had to call his mom. Watch this.
This afternoon, a mother says she just wants answers after her special needs son is found wandering miles away from his school when he was supposed to be in class.
I don't feel safe. I'm just scared to go back. There's something could happen that same day again.
11-year-old Richard Harley says he doesn't want to go back to class after he was found wandering, scared and alone, miles away from school grounds following a student-led walkout protesting ICE.
They were supposed to stay on 72, by the school, but they did the exact opposite. It went just way more farther, and no one even knew, how far they were going.
So you kind of got...
I was the last one, so I was, all alone.
The incident happened Tuesday morning at Dundee Middle School in the far northwest suburb where the 6th grader is a student.
what's going on?
His mother says she was not notified about the walkout, and because her son has special needs and an individualized education program, or IEP, takes issue with him being allowed to leave campus without supervision or parental authorization.
Why didn't I get, a notification that he was tardy, or absent for that matter? Why didn't they even bother calling in?
Blaisdell says her son didn't understand what the walkout was about and merely went along with the other students when they went outside. She says the protest turned dangerous for Richard when he couldn't keep up with the other kids who were marching along Main Street and Route 72 Higgins Road. Blaisdell said her son called her in a panic.
He said, you just need to come pick me up. I don't know what's going on. I'm very scared.
The 34-year-old mother of three says she called police but was able to locate her son through his cell phone about 10 minutes later near the busy intersection of 72 and Randall Road.
It's not right because my kid, again, is supposed to be safe, in school.
Just insane. I hope she sues that school. Hope she gets them for a lot of money, too. Fucking liberals. Fucking liberals, right? Okay, that one's not up there anymore. Oh, you know why? Because that was probably an Olympic post. You can't even share anything from the Olympics on X. They get them taken down right the fuck away. All this while Zuckerberg is in court saying the web isn't addictive. Right? Trust me, I know. The web is addictive. I hope we so Donald Trump says, I hope we never find life on other planets because there's no doubt that the U.S. government will start sending them money. That's an old one, but still, it's a good one. It's an oldie but a goodie. I was watching this guy I guess you can send him in videos. What's this guy's name? He does the if you laugh you're conservative. This guy right here. And you can send in videos. So I got 2 videos I'm going to send them. One is going to be the Digga video, hot boobs. And then I'm going to send them a video of me saying, I remember back in my day, we used to go postal. Now it's called going tranny. I don't know if he'll be able to play that one, though. So who knows? Who knows? We'll see. He probably won't be able to play that one. Where are we at here? All right. Articles of impeachment against Iowa State University student body president Colby Brandt have been dismissed. So what happened is this. The student body president of Iowa State University, they impeached him because he had ties to Turning Point, because he was conservative. So look at this. So now they made a statement. So statement on student government impeachment. Statement from the student government judicial branch. Pursuant to the student government bylaws, articles of impeachment that were passed at student government February 18th Senate meeting have been petitioned to the Supreme Court for consideration and action. Upon review and careful consideration of the articles of impeachment and consultation with University General Counsel, we determined that because the articles of impeachment are largely surrounded by President Brandt's political ideology and associations with organizations related, impeaching him on such articles would violate his First Amendment rights as defined by the United States Constitution. Look at these fucking just liberal motherfuckers in college. Considering that the articles are not content and viewpoint neutral, we have determined that the further consideration of the articles of impeachment is not within the jurisdiction of the impeachment court, as contemplated by the student government consultation. Therefore, the articles of impeachment regarding President Brandt are dismissed and returned to the Senate. No further action will be taken by the court at this time. And so the university says, in consultation with University General Counsel, the student government judicial branch has dismissed impeachment articles because penalizing the president based on his political ideology and associations would violate his constitutional rights. So yeah. Here's the story on it before. Iowa State University student body president has been impeached for being a part of the organization tied to TPUSA. Had it not made the news, thank God for the internet, because had it not made the news, nobody would have ever found out about this, and he would have been impeached, right? All right, so big announcement on new plans to secure our roads and follow on illegal truckers. Listen to this. This is some good stuff. This is from the Secretary of Transportation.
The work here is just beginning, and it has been a very thoughtful process. And again, I would love if I had the ability to change all the rules because we had all the power in the federal government. We don't. We partner with our states. And so the DOT has a role in having smart, good rules to protect the American people. But I also need the states to say this is not partisan. This is not politics that we're playing here. We can have a debate about whether Joe Biden should have had an open border or Donald Trump, which I would agree with, shut down and secured the border. That's a different debate. The debate really is, do you want well-trained, well-qualified drivers behind the wheel of a big rig driving on American roads? It's very simple. I think the answer is every single American, no matter what your political stripes are, that's exactly what you want. That's what you'd expect from the federal government and the state government.
Right? That's what I want. I don't think it should just be truck drivers, though. I think anybody that drives in the United States should be able to speak English and read our signs. I think that should be the law. All right, Secretary of Defense just fried traitor Eileen Gu, the Olympic skier who took a bribe from CCP to rebuke America and defect to China. So what happened is this girl, she's a United States citizen. She lived her, I don't know, for most of her life, if not all of her life. And she decided to go ski for China. Now, China doesn't allow dual citizenship. You can either be a Chinese citizen or that's it. So how is she living in the United States as a United States citizen, but able to ski for China? Something fishy's going on there.
You said you didn't talk politics, you didn't talk policy, you did talk investment. Here's the great question for me, and Mr. Soros has an open invitation to come spend an hour with me here on the Will Kane Show, or his son for that matter, because I just want to understand the vision. What is the vision of George Soros for this world?
Yeah,
they put the wrong thing in.
Many people have asked me that. I don't understand. Country's been very good to him. It was just like this young,
they messed it up.
Olympic athlete that the vice president was talking about earlier on the previous show. America was great to her. She sold out to China. That America was great to Mr. Soros. He has a very different vision, and it's mercifully it is one that the American people don't share. So, but
well, let's stay. If you wouldn't, you said you didn't talk politics, you didn't talk policy, you did talk investment,
and she got second place, I guess. Hear about Gavin Newsom now too.
The Gavin Newsom. One thing I would tell you, if you want to go back to boxing, that guy cannot take a punch. I mean,
what do you mean?
He likes to dish it out, but you push back on him, and he gets completely flustered. I mean, it is.
Gavin Newsom's
you bark at him, and he
glass jaw,
glass jaw, and I think like slow brain.
Remember Glass Joe for a Mike Tyson fight? That was like one of the first people you fought. Glass Joe. I think that was his name. Wasn't it Glass Joe? All right, students at QCSD schools reportedly arrested after 35 students stormed out of school to protest ICE, despite the walkout being canceled. The school was then placed on lockdown. Let's watch this video. Do nothing to me. I'm a minor. That's how they think. They're a minor. Nobody can do anything to them. Oh shit, they're dragging them in the car. You need to be on the other side so we can see. Dumbass kids. Obviously, it wasn't a peaceful protest.
You're fucking proud of yourself, I'm sure.
Right? That's probably what they're screaming.
Well, this is why we pay taxes. Fucking cops can beat on children.
Shut up, you idiot liberal. You also pay taxes for the kids to go to school. What did they do to that guy? Fucking dumbass kids.
Blood.
You know what what parents should do? They should well, you're living on stolen land. Get out of my fucking house. Oh, what? You don't pay any rent? You don't pay for food? Get the fuck out of my house. You're not going to school. Fucking dumbass kids. Listening to their teachers. Just listening to their teachers like their teachers know more than anybody else in this world. I think we should start having, more school or, conservative schools, church schools, whatever you want to call it, more of it.
So do you think in the big picture, fewer tariffs are going to be better for the world? Because I understand you're talking about this specific situation, but do you think reining in the president, preventing this from happening again under some other president in the future, will prevent more of these types of messes?
No, it was just these tariffs as opposed as a penalty. There's nothing wrong with reciprocal tariffs. If a country adds a 10% VAT tax, and we don't call it VAT tax in the U.S., we'll just do a 10% tariff. There's nothing wrong with that. That's the stable tariff negotiation that's gone on forever. But you've got situations where punitive tariffs were used during this period the Supreme Court looked at and ruled on, this morning and said, no, you can't do that. That's a tax, and Congress wasn't consulted. But no one...
Well, that's all he said. Never mind.
Do you think in the big picture...
Notice how they cut it off right there. So now Somali migrants in Minnesota are demanding reparations. You can't make this shit up.
These programs fits into our criteria of small business owners, not those who make $200,000 and above. We don't make that much amount, and we have been suffering since the crisis of ICE. We also demand an immediate help to evictions so families are not pushed to homelessness during the crisis. Our community deserves accountability. Our community deserves safety. We need also justice for those who lost their lives defending the community. Leave programs.
Shut the fuck up. You don't deserve shit. You deserve to go back to Somalia is what you deserve. That's what you deserve. Light bulb head, yeah. And here's another one. Here's Ilhan Omar. What are they saying here?
Thank you. When did you give notice? And I just want to make sure you did not see any detainees.
No, we gave notice 8 days ago. We got confirmation yesterday that we were going to be allowed in. And the last detainee was taken out at 11:30 a.m., 30 minutes before we were set to arrive.
What about the children who were released in T-shirts on Wednesday?
And we also did ask, how many people came through today, which is why it felt convenient that no one was there. They said 10 when we first got there, and 10 were gone. And then they said there were another 5. And so I circled back and I said, can we go and see the 5 that are here, because we have privacy release forms? And they said, no, we cannot permit you to go into the cell to see the detainees. And I said, well, we don't need to go into the cell. We can, put the forms, slide them in, and then we can look through the glass and see what their conditions look like. And then they oohed and ahed for a little bit, and then conveniently, as they were taking us towards the cell, someone said, there's not a single person left, and they took us into an empty cell. So it's just the timeline and the stories seem very convenient for what they...
Yeah, you marrying your brother to become an American citizen just seems very convenient. You become elected and you go from being broke as hell to being worth millions of dollars. It just seems so convenient.
Really were working very hard for us not to see and witness. But thank you all.
Shut the fuck up. You bet she gives grill. Oh my gosh. I don't even know what that means, bro. All right, breaking. President Trump hints he is about to expose the foreign influences who swayed SCOTUS's... I hope so. I hope so. But who knows when that's going to happen, because it hasn't happened yet, and this was from Saturday, I'm guessing. Saturday or Sunday. We just didn't do any news Saturday or Sunday. Jesse Waters. Who's he messing with today?
Let's see.
Okay, well, you guys arrested like every Republican that was surrounding
Why are you in jail then?
Because I'm smart.
Okay.
Paul?
Let's see.
Okay, well, you guys arrested like every Republican that was...
I wish we didn't have to have equal, Although I do like Scott Jennings over there on CNN. It was my great honor to assign from the Oval Office a global 10% tariff on all countries, which will be effective almost immediately. Thank you for your attention on this matter. So that was Saturday still. Because then he went up to 15%. He actually went up to 15% too. ICE is going hard in California, arresting a leftist agitator in broad daylight. Oh, let's watch this.
You're killing him! Get up! What the fuck is wrong with you? Get up!
Leave her alone! Leave her alone! Leave her alone! Leave her alone! Leave her alone!
Doesn't look like they're murdering him to me.
Hey, we're not doing shit, pussy! We're not doing shit, pussy! Get off him! What the fuck? You're killing him!
Man, he should have sprayed the protesters. You're bothering me. Get the fuck out of here. All right, Stephen Miller pummels J.B. Pritzker after demanding a $1,700 refund for the tariffs for every... Yeah, Pritzker says, you owe us $17 billion or something like that in total. I forget how much it was.
Governor Pritzker is not only economically illiterate, historically illiterate, and probably functionally illiterate, but he is also somebody whose every action and policy is designed to hurt and betray America. Let's be very clear about this, Laura. President Trump got elected in large part to bring back our supply chains, reshore our manufacturing base, bring back our jobs from overseas. Over the last year, his historic program of tariffs has done exactly that. That's why we've seen record job growth, record wage growth,
but how many
and record
people?
Reshoring of vital manufacturing
jobs. A
lot
of people.
Under Biden, under the Democrats, for 4 years, we saw back-breaking, double-digit, record-setting inflation, costing Americans thousands of dollars a year. Many Americans, tens of thousands of dollars a year. That's what Pritzker supported. President Trump has brought inflation down to 1.4%, an ideal benchmark rate, according to economists.
Just a joke. And if we did give him the money, who's it going to go to? It's probably going to go in his pocket. Probably going to go in his pocket, J.B. Pritzker's pocket, right? Breaking news, at least 300 high school students in Virginia who walked out of class to protest ICE have been given 3-day suspensions for violating school policy by leaving campus grounds. Good. Good. The teachers should be blamed too. So this was on Saturday, I believe, too. So Saturday, they killed another narco ship. Watch it. Oh, they don't show it. Are they not going to show it or what? They didn't show it this time. Interesting. Let's see. Where are we? Photos of the cocaine found at the Biden White House have finally been released. Oh, shit. Let's see
White
this.
House. Years after filing a FOIA, the FBI sent us these never-before-seen pictures of the coke being tested in their lab. But we still don't have an answer to the most basic question, whose is it? Somehow in the most surveilled building on planet Earth, even after finding DNA on the bag, Secret Service closed the case after just 11 days without any suspects. But FBI Director Kash Patel reopened the investigation, so maybe this case won't be cold forever. Fox News.
Probably the stuff they're giving Joe Biden to wake him up so he could go and do his events. Yeah, just give me some of that white stuff and I'll be okay for the rest of the night. So a gang fight at San Bernardino. This is at the courthouse in San Bernardino. Holy shit.
They don't like.
In the freaking courthouse. Oh, he jumped and punched. What the heck? Are they shooting BBs at him or plastic BBs? That's not doing anything. I don't think that was a taser. Hold on, let's see if they were tasers. Were they tasers? Oh yeah, they're tasing him. Okay, he got tased. Look, he's shaking. All right, we got a taser. We got a taser.
You remember to re-energize this to not move.
Right, Kevin?
Give my chain. I don't care about none of that. Just give my chain. Hey, take these from my area.
Wonder what they were fighting about.
No, step back. You've already been told.
I mean, you can't control yourself long enough to get out of the courthouse to fight where you know if you fight in the courthouse you're going to get arrested. I mean, come on. Fucking dumbasses. What a bunch of dumbasses. So Minnesota Police Department is finally taking care of the problem. Let's see what they're doing. Let's see what they're doing. Nice. Come here, Donnie. Take your medicine, buddy.
I'm pressed. We're pressed.
Come on, man.
Good boy.
Okay.
Go move on. Move on.
Large vehicles now. They appear to be unmarked federal vehicles. I'm pressed.
I'm pressed. You can't hurt me.
Independent media alongside.
Anybody can just put a press tag on their backpack now.
Stop, please. You don't fucking about that. No. Talking that shit to me. Fucking you talking about niggas out there.
Oh my God, what is going on?
Shouldn't be protesting.
This is the Minneapolis Police Department. We're all under arrest.
You told me to go around there. I told you to move, nigga.
This is the Minneapolis Police Department. We're all under arrest.
I love it.
This is a lawful order for the Minneapolis Police Department.
Oh, Donnie's. I love it. Need to see more of it. Funny how Minnesota's actually, or Minneapolis is working now. All right, the USS Gerald R. Ford just rolled into the Mediterranean. Like, who ordered the floating 100,000-ton warning shot? Donnie, no, Bubba's. That's old news, though. Maybe this is still from Friday. I did a show on Friday, didn't I? Come on, Donnie. All right, U.S. Air Force lineup Iran really doesn't want to meet. F-22s are there to own the sky. F-35s are there to slip past radars and babysit the stealth bombers. And a U-2 is literally orbiting above them, acting as a flying group chat server, so all the jets can gossip in real time. Strike Eagles, Super Hornets are circling for anything that needs to stop existing. Growlers are prepping to turn Iran's air defenses into white noise. And the F-16 Wild Weasel showed us specifically to bully any radar brave enough to power on. When Washington sends in this mix, it's not subtle. In the area equivalent of cracking your knuckles and saying, don't make me do the long version. Let's watch this video. This should be a good video.
Stealth bombers. The US has hundreds of aircraft deployed in the Middle East. They all have different roles and some are very specialist. Here's how they stack up. The F-22 Raptor's role is to achieve air superiority. They have a supercruise capability and can travel long distances at supersonic speed without using afterburners. They have a mixture of stealth features and advanced avionics to dominate the airspace, although the Iranian Air Force was notably absent during the 2025 12-day war with Israel. The F-35s give a long-range strike and escort capability. They have a low observability design mixed with advanced avionics. In the 2025 B-2 Midnight Hammer raid, they escorted the stealth bombers ready to suppress the Iranian air defenses. The F-22s and F-35s have different data communication systems, so high behind them a U-2 Dragon Lady acts as a comms node, with a system nicknamed the Einstein box, which allows the two aircraft types to exchange data. The U-2 can fly at over 70,000 feet, meaning its footprint can cover a huge area. The F-15E Strike Eagles and FA-18 Super Hornets are the fighter bombers. They search for and strike high-value ground targets. With them come the EA-18G Growlers. They can jam communication systems and blind air defense radars as the strike packages go in. Then come the F-16 CJs, known as the Wild Weasels. Their job is to hunt down and destroy air defense radars using HARM high-speed anti-radiation missiles. The US has put dozens of F-16s into the region, and their presence could indicate the US planning for a protracted strike on Iran to suppress the Iranian air defenses. Do you think the US has deployed this much hardware as a negotiation tactic? Let us know what you think in the comments.
Of course it is. But also, it's in case we need to use it. 70,000 feet high. Yeah, that's way out in outer space, right? Way out in outer space. They aren't fucking around. They aren't fucking around. All right, Scott Jennings. Let's see what Scott Jennings did today or the other day.
I will just say, politically today, it was a big breaking news day, but I just think we ought to acknowledge something. This is a properly functioning government today. The President of the United States, the head of the executive branch, made a policy decision. The Supreme Court, that renders legal opinions about these kinds of decisions, made a decision.
Yes, until
they
Friday.
said you can't do that. The President of the United States said, okay, I agree, and I will acknowledge your decision. I am going to use a different statute to try to do what I want to do. This is properly functioning government. And I'll tell you one more thing. For every Democrat and every media person that has gone on for the last year or two about how this Supreme Court is a wholly owned subsidiary of Donald Trump, that it's not independent, that it does whatever he says to do, obviously that narrative was obliterated today. So to me, I thought the ruling was sound. I think the president is sound to try other statutes. And I think the narratives about the court not being independent and the president not obeying the court were totally blown up today.
That was a very...
Right? So then he added more tariffs to him. Just in a different way. Just in a different way. All right, Senator John Kennedy had everybody cracking up with his brutally honest spiel about Representative AOC. Oh, this should be good.
Not all crickets. Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez went to Munich this week and made some comments about foreign policy.
Real quick, yeah.
Look, I don't hate anybody, and I certainly don't hate the Congresswoman. But how can I put this? The Congresswoman is kind of like Vice President Kamala Harris, but with more bartending experience. She has never been accused of being a policy maven. You put her in a presidential primary with Elizabeth Warren or Rahm Emanuel, they will devour her like a light snack. I probably shouldn't say this, but she can get me back. Somebody told me a joke today. They said Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez announced today categorically that she is not a moron. And she went on to say she hasn't even been to Utah, much less embraced their religion. Now, she can get me back. I don't dislike the Congresswoman.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
But our plan for dealing with her, as I've said before, has always been Operation Let Her Speak. And so far, it's working. And my message to my friend the Congresswoman is, you go, girl. You just keep it up.
Well, I think you're.
I remember calling them morons in high school, even. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So Bill and Hillary are about to get grilled over Epstein. House Republicans are preparing to question Bill Clinton about his past ties to Epstein, including those infamous hot tub photos, where he's probably just going to say, I plead the fifth, right? He's just going to say it over and over again. When is their hearing? When is their hearing? For investigations. I don't know. When is their hearing? Is it tomorrow? Or is it tomorrow and Wednesday? Or Wednesday and Thursday? I forget. But it's closed. It's behind closed doors, but they'll put the video out afterwards for sure. All right, let's see what. Oh my God, what's with this dude's hair?
We have to abolish ICE. We have to abolish the Customs and Border Patrol in the way that they currently exist and replace them with something that actually does the work that we need for them to do.
Yeah, don't bring up Utah.
At holding these people in this administration accountable. I'll tell you what the work is not. The work is not killing American citizens.
You said the work we
in
need
our
them to
community.
do. I'm interested in your opinion. What
Absolutely.
is the work that we need them to do?
Absolutely. One, the work is not killing American citizens.
No,
It's
what
not
is the work we need them to do?
Well, first, let's look at what they don't need to do. They don't need to go into communities like Memphis,
Do they need to
Tennessee,
deport illegal aliens?
where they're currently terrorizing
need
and
to deport
traumatizing
illegal
our
aliens?
communities. What we also need
Can
to
you
make
say
sure
it?
is that we have elected officials who are creating a pathway of opportunity for people who currently
He's just reading the script that they had to memorize.
Agency to deport illegal aliens, yes or no?
We do need a federal law enforcement agency that deals with immigration, that doesn't kill
To deport
people.
illegal aliens,
What we
yes or
do
no?
also need is laws that make sure that people
Is
who
there
are
a single illegal alien
undocumented-
that you would deport?
You know, this is what I want you to focus
one.
on.
Is there
I
one?
want you to focus on. There are a lot of people in this country and in this community, in our communities,
Is there one?
that have done so much to make them better, and we need to be prioritizing
So the
how
answer
we
is
create
no?
opportunity and
Is this the
access for
Democratic
them
position
to
for
be there.
26?
The
That there are
Democratic
no
position
illegal
in
aliens that should be
26
deported?
The Democratic position in 26 is that we don't terrorize American citizens, we don't terrorize undocumented
If you were
people,
advising
and we
Democrats in
don't kill
26, would you
people
advise
like
them to
Alex
answer this
Preddy
question
and
this
Renee
way,
Good.
that you can't say there is a single illegal alien that should be deported by the federal government?
What is shocking to me is that you think you can narrow the challenges of
It's not narrow, it's broad.
immigration.
There's 20 million
that you can
here.
challenge the issues of immigration into one yes or no question, when the reality is the policies and practices
should we follow
of
the law
this
is the yes or no
administration have led to the deaths of American citizens. And
Hey, at least this guy's smart enough to memorize his talking points and actually get them right. You know, we got to give him a little credit. Got to give the dude a little credit. Not much, but a little. Ooh, Lauren Boebert.
This was a decision by the network. It wasn't President Trump that canceled your segment there. I mean, this is one area where Ms. Crockett is correct. This was a decision by the network, and they didn't.
I'd love to go to a
want
movie
have
theater with
on,
her.
Possibly, they didn't want to have that equal time, and so they looked at the ruling and said, "Well, we're not going to do this." But I also think that the way it was aired, I mean, you got over 5 million views. You raised $2.5 million in 24 hours, so it was pretty big success for you.
Well, again, my concern is not
My concern is not for my campaign, it's for the Constitution.
Right,
and
it wasn't the president who said, do not allow this to air. They did not say, do not allow this to air. It was equal share time that was already in the rules. And that network said, we don't want to have the equal share. We don't want to fulfill that part of the rule.
Again, let's go one level deeper.
It wasn't President Trump that canceled your segment there.
You know, he played the game. He got, like she said, he got what he wanted. Right? Oh, you know, President Trump when he didn't want me to be on the news, blah, 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 whatever it is at that show that he was going on. Stephen Colbert, right? All right, Senator Ron Johnson claps back at Senate GOP. Oh, let's hear this. Ooh, Kayleigh McEnany.
And the fear among some Republicans is this is going to take weeks of floor time. But when I look, there's not a ton of bills coming out of the Senate. I know you guys have nominees. I think 2 weeks of floor time for Democrats to describe their support for the 20% is floor time that is well worth it. Your thoughts?
Absolutely, we can go well beyond 2 weeks as well. Again, we don't have appropriation bills teed up. I mean, you realize we just funded this year's government 4 months into the fiscal year. So no, we're not going to be doing anything productive over the next couple of weeks or next couple of months. This is well worth doing, taking our time to do that.
That's helpful.
This is still Friday news. Holy shit. I forgot. I streamed music on Friday night. All right, the B2s are getting ready to rock and roll. Those are a cool plane. Look at how cool they look. It's like Batman combined with Darth Vader. Have you ever seen one fly over you? When I was a kid, I saw one land at Vandenberg Air Force Base. Not the landing, but I saw it fly over to land at Vandenberg Air Force Base. Thing's just impressive. Impressive. I always like watching planes and trains. All right, so the free skier Hunter Hess tries trolling Trump by flashing a backwards L sign after his successful run in the Olympic halfpipe. He qualified only to finish 10th in the finals. Apparently, I'm a loser, he says, because President Trump called him a loser for.
It brings up mixed emotions to represent the
Texas
U.S.
Motor
right
Speedway.
now, I think.
Nice.
It's a little hard. There's obviously a lot going on that I'm not the biggest fan of, and I think a lot of people aren't. If it aligns with my moral values, I feel like I'm representing it. Just because I'm wearing the flag doesn't mean I represent everything that's going on in the U.S.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
So yeah, I just kind of want to do
You
it for
lost.
my friends and my family.
You notice all the people that went there and talked shit about the United States while playing for the United States? They all sucked. It didn't do very good at all. Funny how that works. All right, so 3 Silicon Valley engineers are charged with sending Google secrets to Iran. Interesting. So much for those H-1B visas, right? Right? Anyways, a Democrat majority federal court appointed Democrat James W. Hundley as President Trump's United States attorney in EDVA. Trump fired him immediately. Senate inaction is letting judges pick the president's prosecutors. Thune needs to get his prosecutors confirmed or let the president have his recess appointments now. Yeah, what the, the fucking senators are just fucking it all up for the whole entire country. Because they're a bunch of pussies. I'll say it. This is talking about Iran.
Times the amount of air power assembled in the Middle East or heading there compared to Operation Midnight Hammer over the summer. And President Trump is considering unleashing it on Iran unless that country comes to an agreement with the United States.
They better negotiate a fair deal. They better negotiate. The people of Iran are a lot different than the leaders of Iran. And it's very, very, very sad situation.
For them?
But 32,000 people were killed over a relatively
Really?
short
All over
period
your
of
house?
time.
Nice.
And right now, there are over 100 mid-air refueling planes either in the Middle East or Europe. That's double the amount used for the B-2 strike in June as a comparison. And 15 of those tankers are in the Azores right now, the Atlantic, which were used to refuel the B-2s en route to destroy Iran's nuclear sites over the summer. And the USS Gerald R. Ford carrier strike group passed through Gibraltar yesterday. She's still 3 to 4 days away from the Eastern Med and the Suez Canal.
They're there
where
now.
destroyers could help protect Israel if necessary.
Yeah, this is
now,
old.
missing in
They're there now. All right, so an Indian illegal brought in under Biden just has been sentenced to 18 years in prison for stealing $15 million. Look at this.
Department of Justice officials say they're putting fraudsters on notice, and they want anyone who is over the age of 60 to reach out if they suspect they've experienced fraud.
Rather than angrily trying to confront the fraudsters himself, he helped turn the hunters into the hunted.
United States Attorney John P. Heekin announced the arrest of 23-year-old Artharva Sathawain, who is now sentenced to 18 years in prison for taking and laundering more than $15 million from elderly victims. They found 13 victims, but were unable to identify 15 others.
The scammers we are dealing with are highly skilled manipulators. They know exactly how to make victims believe that they are talking like a real official and sometimes law enforcement.
Sathawain was here from India on an expired student visa after he dropped out of school in 2023. One of his victims includes Brian Oliver from Gainesville, who lost more than $200,000. He targeted many elderly people who he convinced to liquidate their retirement accounts to obtain cash, gold, or sometimes both. Sathawain would then travel to the victims to take possession of the cash and gold, which he would then deliver to his co-conspirators, some of whom were in India.
Many of the victims were told that they were tied, their identification had been tied to drug dealing, money laundering, and one even into buying illegal guns. If somebody is told this, they need to call their local police.
He did this 33 times over a 4-month period from October 2024 until his arrest outside of Oliver's door in February 2025. Just last year, victims in Florida lost $33 million in gold bar scams.
People, if somebody calls you up and says, "Hello, I am with the FBI. You need to send me money," do not fucking do it. Listen to the voice. It should tell you right the fuck there. "Hello, thank you for calling Prime Customer Service. My name is John." Don't do it. Oh, let's see what this was last week at the White House with the beautiful Carolyn LeVitt.
It's been a minute since we released a MAGA Minute, so here we are, and let's get to it. This week, the Trump administration was hard at work delivering for you. President Trump hosted the inaugural meeting of the Board of Peace with member nations announcing more than $7 billion for the reconstruction of Gaza. President Trump also traveled to Rome, Georgia, where he delivered remarks at Coosa Steel Manufacturing Facility and stopped by the Varsity Restaurant.
That place is pretty
he
good.
participated in a working breakfast with governors at the White House and hosted a Black History Month reception at the White House as well. The president wrapped up this week by giving a press conference to discuss the outright irresponsible IEEPA ruling from the Supreme Court and outline the legal authority to continue with tariffs. Remember, people, trust in Trump. The president announced FEMA intervention to help resolve the Potomac River sewage spill amid incompetent state and local leadership.
Even though they're not getting
CBS
paid.
News reported this week that the average tax refund is nearly 11% higher so far for Americans this year. Mortgage rates have fallen to their lowest level since 2022. That was announced this week. And in addition, jobless claims fell by the most since November. U.S. industrial production saw its largest increase in nearly a year.
Right, Kevin?
And the president announced $10 million in funding for the economic recovery effort following the train derailment in East Palestine, Ohio. President Trump's Homeland Security Task Force made more than 500 arrests, seized more than 1,000 pounds of narcotics, and identified 257 victims of human trafficking in the month of January as part of its effort to combat human trafficking. President Trump finalized a trade agreement with Indonesia, which will provide you, the American people, with unprecedented market access. And Secretary of State Marco Rubio gave a landmark address at the Munich Security Conference. The administration also released its Maritime Action Plan to revive our U.S. shipbuilding industry. And very excitingly, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth is beginning the process of identifying government files related to alien life. Stay tuned. The U.S. Commission of Fine Arts approved the president's White House ballroom design, and First Lady Melania Trump donated her 2025 inaugural gown to the Smithsonian Institute. Make sure you tune in to the president's State of the Union speech next Tuesday. You won't want to miss it, and we'll catch you at the end of next week for another MAGA
We're going
Minute.
to live stream that tomorrow. We're definitely going to live stream that tomorrow. Right? Live stream the State of the Union address tomorrow. It's cold outside again. And yes, I still have a shit ton of snow here. All right, so a Nobel Prize winner just invented a machine that pulls clean water out of thin air up to 1,000 liters per day, powered by ambient heat and works in deserts even. There's no video on it. That's crazy. That's crazy. I hope it works, you know? Because we need a lot of water for our farms here in California. But then we'd have it if the Gavin Newsom and them wouldn't just send it away. Democrat Portland City Councilor says she's considering getting a gun now. I thought they were against guns.
I'm getting more reactions after those chaotic moments at Portland City Hall led to arrests. Wednesday night, a group of unruly protesters stormed the council floor, and some city leaders feared for their safety.
Was Tommy Boy
Council
there?
that night was set to discuss those unspent funds Ariel was talking about before anti-ICE protesters interrupted proceedings. Police arrested 4 people for trespassing, interfering with a peace officer, and criminal misconduct. It's not the first time this has happened. Point 6 spoke with Councilor Loretta Smith, who's even mentioned buying a gun to protect herself.
It has crossed my mind over the last few months about, getting a concealed weapon permit, but I haven't gone that far yet. And we need to make sure that violence does not happen at City Hall. I am committed to making sure City Hall is a safe place and that people feel comfortable coming to City Hall and making sure that their voices are heard.
Portland Police Chief Bob Day says the response to that protest that night required every available officer in the city to respond. He urges anyone choosing to demonstrate to do so responsibly and lawfully.
Lawfully. Now you guys say that, huh? Now you say it. Hey, what's up, Zero? Getting a gun to protect themselves from paid protesters, right? What's going on here?
My name is John Alante McCauley. I'm with a grassroots organization called Flip Philly Red. We're here to bring you something different because you've been voting Democrat for the mayor's office for the past 70 years. In regards to Jerome Richardson, his First Amendment right was not violated. In fact, he committed a federal crime, namely the FACE Act, which protects access to places of religious places from interference and obstruction. He also committed a conspiracy act, which he plotted to deprive people of practicing religion in church service. So his First Amendment was not violated. This conspiracy act is also called the KKK Act. It derived from the Enforcement Act, which actually came from a Republican president by the name of Ulysses S. Grant. The reason why he had to put this in here is because the Ku Klux Klan, which came from the Democrat Party, was using force and intimidation to stop Black Americans from voting. You guys, every single one of you, violated my First Amendment 2 weeks ago when y'all cut my mic short. And y'all want to sit up here and cry for Jerome Richardson. You guys are worried about what's going on with Tampon Tim in Minnesota when we got problems here in Philadelphia that you need to be worried about. This is a silly resolution that I saw names like co-sponsored on there, President Kenyatta, Jamie Gunthier, Kendra Brooks, Goofy. Every single one of you, Goofy. We got a Philadelphia school district that ranks at the bottom 22% in the entire Pennsylvania. Yeah, turn your back. And
see, they cut his mic off again. What a joke.
Thank you very much, sir.
What a fucking joke. That's when you bring your megaphone in and just start screaming over your megaphone. So I don't know if this is a real one, but I was watching this and it was
$20 million gone. Nike out. Lexus out. Corona out. All because Billie Eilish stood on a stage at the Grammys and said something so spectacularly stupid that even her own record label must have spat out their champagne. But here's what makes this story absolutely fascinating. She's not backing down. Her brother's not backing down. They're both pointing fingers at everyone except themselves. And now she can't even film a commercial without crowds booing her off set. I'm going to walk you through exactly what happened, why it matters, and why this is about far more than just one pop star having a meltdown. This is about consequence culture finally working both ways. Let's get into it. Right, the Grammys, February 2026, CBS broadcasting live to millions. Billie Eilish walks up to accept her award. I don't even remember what category, doesn't matter. And instead of saying thank you like a normal human being, she launches into this. There is no such thing as illegal immigration on stolen land. Full stop. That's what she said on live television in front of the entire industry. Now, I want you to think about that statement for a second. Really think about it. She's essentially saying that America has no right to enforce its borders because the land was taken from Native Americans, which fine, that's a historical fact. Nobody disputes that. But what she's implying is that therefore any immigration restriction is illegitimate. Do you see the problem there? By that logic, Britain shouldn't have borders because the Romans invaded, or the Saxons, or the Normans. Australia shouldn't exist as a nation. Canada shouldn't have borders. New Zealand, Argentina, Brazil, the entire new world just throws its doors open because of events from centuries ago. It's the kind of undergraduate philosophy you hear at 2 a.m. in a university dorm room from someone who's had too much cheap wine and just discovered Noam Chomsky. Except she said it on national television as a statement of profound moral certainty. The audience at the Grammys, and this tells you everything about that room, they applauded. They did. Standing ovation from some corners. Because of course they did. These are people who haven't lived in the real world for decades. They live in gated communities.
Yeah,
they
crazy,
have private
right?
security. They send their kids to private schools. Immigration policy doesn't affect their lives one bit. But for everyone watching at home, different story entirely. And you could see it on her face, this smug, self-satisfied expression, like she'd just ended world hunger, like she was the bravest person in the room. She wasn't. She was the stupidest. Now, if the story ended there, it would be bad enough, but it gets worse. Enter Phineas O'Connell. That's her brother. He's also her producer, writes most of her music. Apparently quite talented in his own right, though I wouldn't know because I don't listen to music where people whisper at me. Phineas decides, in his infinite wisdom, to defend his sister on social media.
I've never heard a single one of her songs. All right, this is a short video, but the way this guy talks about this, it's really good. I
think this was a bit shocking for the audience of CNN because they're not used to seeing anyone just reject the artificial friend.
This is what I was telling you about earlier, guys. This is where on CNN asked this girl about men in sports, and they think she's going to be on their side. It's crazy.
Entirely.
What would make this fair for her to compete for those who are competing against her?
Say, nope, that's a man, and he's competing with women, and you can see it on the host's face.
What would that kind of structure in competition look like?
Who is her?
AB.
Okay, AB Hernandez is a male who identifies as a female.
Because they're playing two different games. If your game is grounded in objective reality and the other game is not, all you can do is reject that game entirely and address it from there.
What would be fair is to have Hernandez competing in the male category. It is not fair to the females competing to have to compete with a male.
And the host
There you go, Gavin.
does not quite know what to do with it.
Okay, so in Trump's federal funding threat,
She's going to change course and try and make it about Trump. Okay.
is that something, though, that would hurt all student athletes, including athletes who are assigned female at birth?
Your opponent is going to make it so overly complicated. This is not Trump making a threat. This is just a law.
Would his federal funding threat hurt athletes?
If the money is taken away.
We can translate everything she's saying into simple language.
Right. So the law actually says that schools that do not abide Title IX or other federal laws cannot receive federal funds. So that's not Trump's fault.
And the argument is as simple as that, what you just heard. Watch what happens.
The problem is that the state with AB 1266.
But you understand, Julie, there's two views here on Title IX. So just to be clear, not everyone agrees with you on how you're viewing it.
Okay, so there's people that disagree when it comes to the trans debate. That has nothing to do with the point you just made about the law being followed in order to receive funds.
So in that regard, if you were to take away the funding on as it pertains to trans athletes, not everyone agrees with you. I think we just have to be clear about that.
This is what it looks like when a truck meets a glass wall.
The root of the problem in California is AB 1266, which became Law Education Code Section 221.5F back in 2013. That law requires school districts to allow students to compete in the athletics and use the facilities that align with their gender identity instead of their sex. That is the root of the problem. That needs to be rescinded, and the state of California needs to stop enforcing that law if we are going to abide by Title IX. If California doesn't want to do that, fine, but they need to stop accepting federal funds. That's a condition. You have to comply with federal law to accept federal funds.
If you are taking away the funds for athletes, student athletes in California, isn't that going to hurt all of them?
Yes, action, consequence. No funds, not a good thing. No funds will affect everyone. Therefore, it's important to do what is necessary to get the funds.
Taking away federal funds is going to hurt all California kids, which is why the state of California needs to comply with federal law. It's very simple.
So when you dig into the science on trans athletes...
The science. Yes, what is the science?
What is really clear is that there needs to be a lot more research on a lot more trans athletes.
What do you know?
To be able to draw better
Are you a
conclusions
doctor?
about the effect of whether gender-affirming care actually reduces or eliminates the advantage conferred on an athlete who is genetically male. Would you welcome more research? Is this a situation where more research might help?
Yes. Research, understanding, science, good things. Let's do more of that. You're right. We need more understanding.
I absolutely think that more research and more careful and thoughtful discussion is necessary here. Pediatric sex change procedures are very harmful and they cause lifelong damage to children. And this is something that the United States of America needs to examine thoughtfully, and people need to be able to discuss openly without being called bigots and transphobes.
And she turns the tables on the host, and the host doesn't know what to do with this.
Yeah, totally hear you. So there are obviously clear benefits to playing sports, to competing in sports. So when you're looking at an athlete like AB Hernandez, what would you have her do so that she can benefit from sporting?
I love this answer. Watch this.
The answer is simple. Well, if you're a man, you compete with males, or you come up with a third category, if that's what the sports league or school wants to do. We can just translate this into concise language because it's very simple.
I view AB Hernandez as the victim in this situation. I feel for him, and I feel that he has been lied to for his.
You notice how she keeps saying he. I love it.
Entire life, and it's probably very destabilizing and difficult for him right now to realize that what he's been told is not actually reality. He cannot become a girl.
And the host can't handle this. Nope, this is getting into too offensive territory.
What he can do is compete in the male category, or if CIF.
She tries to wrangle it back.
So you say compete in the male category or what?
A third category, but we can obviously see logically there are too many flaws with the model of competing with women.
Or if the state and CIF want to create a separate category for people like A.B. Hernandez, and that's something that they want to do, fine. It is not fair to female athletes who have worked their entire lives for this kind of competition, who also, by the way, cannot speak out for fear of retaliation, which A.B. Hernandez's mother has personally threatened against them.
The only thing this host has throughout this entire thing is an artificial frame. It's not real. That's why this interview is so important to look at and why it went so viral.
So it's very unfair for our girls and women in California to have to compete with males, have to share facilities with males, and then not be able to speak up about the unfairness because people are going to label them as bigots.
But at the end of the day, I bet you anything deep down, the host agrees more with her than she's actually letting on.
Julie Hamill, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
For those of you who are interested in market.
That's just crazy, right? Fucking Democrats just trying to push their fucking agenda. Push their agenda over and over and over again. All right, so if you didn't hear about this yesterday, the U.S. Secret Service reported that a man in his early 20s was fatally shot early Sunday morning after he allegedly breached a secure perimeter of President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago resort in Palm Beach. According to the Secret Service, the incident took place around 1:30 a.m. when the suspect made an unauthorized entry onto the property. He was spotted near the north gate carrying what appeared to be a shotgun and a fuel can. Secret Service agents, along with Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office deputy, confronted the individual, who was pronounced dead at the scene. You play stupid games, and I have a lot more on this from Sunday. So there is more on this. But let's have a laugh and let's listen to AOC going crazy.
If you think that I don't understand foreign policy because out of hours of discourse about international affairs,
Wait a minute.
I paused.
Do you hear the snoring in the background? Hold on.
Understand foreign policy because out of hours of discourse about international affairs, I paused to think about one of the most sensitive geopolitical issues that currently exist on Earth. I'm afraid the issue is not my understanding, but rather the problem is perhaps you've gotten adjusted to a president that never thinks before he speaks. If you think that I don't understand...
Dude, you can't tell me she's sober and doing this. I mean, you could. Her voice is off, right? You can't tell me she's sober, especially with their boyfriend snoring in the background. I mean, you would think she would be smart enough to walk out of the room. But I saw like a greenish bottle here. Hold on. I think she's been drinking hypnotic. Let me see if I can see it again. Look like there's a... Wait a minute. That almost looks like a gas can. Doesn't that look like a gas can? It's red right here. What is that? Oh, no, it's a chicken. It's a chicken. That was the green color I saw. But what is... That looks like a gas can next to it, doesn't it? Behind her? No, it's something else. Okay. What a dumbass. Yeah, I'm good. You know... Don't get me wrong, I get drunk on this show all the fucking time, right? But I'm not a fucking congresswoman who thinks they're gonna run for president. Not in any way, shape, or form. You probably never sleeps with her, incessant babbling all the time. The boyfriend's tired of her. So breaking news, an armed man with a shotgun and a fuel can. Did they play? Is this a video? No. It's not. I thought it was a video. So we already read that because there is another one I think with a video. Let me see. And they already announced who this guy was. Okay, so on terrorists, the president, the administration remains unsure. Let's watch this real quick.
I want to point to what we're doing. The president, the administration remains undeterred in reshoring American factories and getting rid of these massive trade imbalances. That's the big story here, is that we are immediately going to go to Section 122 tariffs, and that the revenue for the U.S. Treasury for 2026, the projections are unchanged. I want to point to what we're...
The Democrats just want to ruin our country, so they want to become the dictators, right? Okay, here's the video that I was looking for. I knew it was on video.
Well, obviously that's a secure, extremely secure area. I've been to the property, as many of you have, many times. Breaching the property, if what we have from the early reports is accurate, and we have no reason to believe otherwise, with a gas can and a shotgun, it appears the intent seems built in. That side of the property, the north side of the property over there, they've made a number of significant security enhancements. I know the director now, who had been the SAC special agent in charge, Director Curran now was a special agent in charge of former President Trump's detail between 45 and 47, obviously.
Yeah, I drove
very
right
familiar
along
with
here.
the property.
Over here is where we had our
a number of very
wave.
significant technology enhancements. They put a lot of money into securing the location. But ultimately, in the end, you know, there was an interdiction here by a human being, and they're going to be the ones who are obviously the decision makers. And it appears from the early reporting, and we'll see what comes out, that they you know, in order to enact any kind of deadly force, which happened in this case, you have to have a fear of serious physical injury or death. It appears the agent or officer who was involved thought that to be the case. The early reporting of a weapon seems to indicate the obvious reason why. And then from this point on, the FBI and the Secret Service, me having been on both sides of the fence, the FBI has an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding with the Secret Service, where the FBI will take over the crime scene in a scenario like this for, you know, obvious reasons. You don't, if there were, and I'm not suggesting at all this is the case, but if there was some kind of security lapse that required an investigation later, you wouldn't want the Secret Service investigating themselves, and vice versa. If it happened with the FBI, you wouldn't want them investigating themselves either. So we'll generally take over the crime scene. There's usually a smooth transition. The Secret Service will designate some crime scene agents in advance at every site. They have a little asterisk next to their name. They know what to do. They'll hold that, and then there'll be an investigation. And from this point, we'll all be sitting and watching as all the facts emerge.
Yeah. So Secret Service issuing a statement saying on February 22nd around 1:30 a.m., male in his 20s shot by U.S. Secret Service agents and a deputy from Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office following an unauthorized entry into the secure perimeter at Mar-a-Lago. The individual whose identity is being withheld pending a notification was pronounced deceased. The individual was observed by the north gate of the Mar-a-Lago property carrying what appeared to be shotgun and fuel can. U.S. Secret Service agents and Palm Beach Police deputy confronted the individual, and shots were fired by law enforcement during the encounter. No Secret Service agent or local sheriff deputy personnel were injured. There was no Secret Service protectees present at the location at the time of the incident. The incident, including the individual's background, actions, potential motive, and the use of force, is under investigation by the FBI, the Secret Service, and Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office. In accordance with the agency policy, the involved Secret Service agents will be placed on routine administrative leave pending the outcome of the investigation, as you just noted.
Dan, you are former Secret Service. What's your gut instinct about where this person decided to enter from? Based on what Charlie just read, how it was handled, just your gut instinct. I mean, we couldn't have a better expert on this morning than you.
Well, thank you for that. That property, which again, you and I have been to many times. Yeah, it's not the kind of area where you can just roam around in certain locations. When you're looking at, say, the east side of it, you would stick out like the, proverbial sore thumb. You just can't do. So the north side of it, that also, you have, residents and folks that live over there. It's not that easy to do that and to get in there. That's why I'm kind of curious as to, was there a backpack involved? Was there some security footage, some security cameras that may have been following this guy sooner? That's the kind of stuff we're going to find out as the fact pattern starts to emerge. One thing I just want to indicate, with Charlie Griff. I'm on the phone, so I'm not watching. I don't know who's calling. But the security perimeter around there is, and that's why I said before, we're not really sure if it was an agent or other. It's not just Secret Service agents. And you see that in these, movies. It's always the Secret Service agents with the earpiece. But we rely heavily on the fantastic work of the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office and others. So it appears.
Interesting. Later on, so I'm almost done with this news today for Sunday. We'll have his name. But let's hear the press conference.
At 1:30 this morning, the security detail detected that a individual had made his way into the inner perimeter of Mar-a-Lago. A deputy and 2 Secret Service agents on the detail went to that area to investigate. They confronted a white male that was carrying a gas can and a shotgun. He was ordered to drop those 2 pieces of equipment that he had with him, at which time he put down the gas can, raised the shotgun to a shooting position. At that point in time, the deputy and the 2 Secret Service agents fired their weapons and neutralized the threat. He is deceased at the scene. I'll give you a picture of the shotgun and the gas can to have with you. So that's what we know now. The investigation continues. The FBI is the lead investigation agency on this case, and we will be assisting them in whatever manner they would like. And they will be responsible for answering any other questions at an appropriate time. Agent Smiles, thank you, sir.
And it was a young kid too, right? They're just totally messing with these kids' heads, right? We didn't have this problem before. Palm Beach County Sheriff shows the photo, so that's the shotgun right there. So that's the photo of the shotgun. And Democrat rhetoric is at a fever pitch as they announce boycott of State of the Union, declaring President Trump has ended democracy in America. In response to the Kennedy senator was targeted with a chemical terror attack, shutting the facility down. Then an armed gunman stormed Mar-a-Lago before being shot by the Secret Service. Yeah, so they put something in the pool, in the ice rink over at Mar-a-Lago, and some kind of chemical rendering it bad. So they had to just shut it down. Shut it down. So USS Gerald R. Ford has entered the Mediterranean Sea as the time runs out for Iran to make a deal. I'm telling you, it's going to be after the State of the Union. If they haven't responded by then, I think that's when President Trump is just going to open up the floodgates. That's my guess. That would be my guess, right? He doesn't want to do it beforehand. He wants to do it afterwards. We're talking about Newscomb and Pritzker.
It's clear that neither of these 2 guys has ever worked in import-export business, because that's just not how it works. These are people who sued the president. Their state sued the president. They wanted to overturn these tariffs. And if they knew anything about it, they would know that the returns just go to companies, often foreign companies, with a subsidiary here in the U.S. I mean, if they want to change this, they need to talk to their Democratic members of Congress and say, here's how we want the refunds to work. They should have known full well that when this one, that if this case were overturned, it would really redound to the benefit of foreigners, foreign workers, foreign companies who have subsidiaries here in the U.S.
Well, that's what they want,
who might get any
kickbacks.
refunds. We'll let the court figure out how that's going to happen. If these guys want to have a different outcome than what they tried to get from the case, then they'll have to go to Congress and see what they can do. It's clear.
They want the kickbacks because they're going to get kickbacks, right? That's what they want. They want to make their money. Oops, what did I do? They want to make their money. They could care less about Americans getting their money back. They just say they do so they'll get votes. That's all it is. Our U.S. intel is saying China likely tested a nuclear weapon, yet the world is too busy with Iran and Epstein and Ukraine. What a crazy and scary time. Yeah. Maybe they're just not telling us about it right now because other stuff's going on. Or they don't want us to be scared right now in this time. Who knows? Who knows what the government thinks? They're always hiding shit from us. Oh yeah, this was stupid. I'm not going to show this one. They said the kid was obsessed with the Epstein files. Is that what they said? Interesting. Let's see, what did this one say? Even CNN just put Gavin Newsom on his heels. Oh, this should be good.
California has the highest cost of living in the nation. The state's prices are 11% higher than the national average. We were actually out to dinner here in Nashville last night. We met a couple from California. Yeah. They moved out of California because they couldn't afford the rent or even to buy a home and also start a family.
Yeah, we've had hundreds of thousands of people move in California the last 2-3 years. We've seen population growth. As you know, we moved from 6th to the 4th largest economy in the world, and we dominate now in every.
You mean illegal aliens?
Key industry, from AI, quantum, robotics. We dominate in ag. We dominate for.
He's like a normal politician. He's not gonna fucking answer the question. Fuck you, dude. Let's see what Tim Burchett's saying in response to Bernie Sanders.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett. I woke up this morning perplexed that one of our U.S. senators doesn't know how to get his own birth certificate. Bernie Sanders, I think he represents Vermont, but he was born in New York State, I think in 1941. So I just typed in my little cell phone here in the Google search. And if you don't know the Google search, Bernie, that's GOOGLE. If you'll click it and then type in, after you get it up at the top, how to get a birth certificate in New York. And guess what? It popped right up. The Vital Records Department. And then you just scroll down and it says birth certificate, oddly enough. Crazy talk. And then I clicked on that and it went through what you need to do. And then you can even use your credit card, which I'm sure you as a capitalist will have a credit card. Or if you don't, I'm sure one of your many staffers will have that. And all you got to do is fill it out. And that gum, guess what? They'll mail it to you, Bernie. It's crazy talk.
Dadgummit.
Or they can, I think they can even send one to you online. I mean, it's just incredible. I was perplexed on this whole issue that we were causing great consternation on you. And now I understand the governor of California as well. So I would encourage you to do that, Bernie. If you don't know how to do that, ask one of your many staffers. I'm sure they will assist you.
Okay, hold on. Let's look real quick. Let's see how quickly I can do it. Get a copy of my new, let's type New York birth certificate. There we go. Look at that. It pops right up even for me. So the New York Vital Record. Okay, we clicked on there. We want to get our birth certificate. We want to order my birth certificate. So what do we got to do? Okay, you got to put the city or borough, the county birth, okay, your birthday, and then your first name, your middle name, your last name, and your suffix, your date of birth, your social security number, and why you want it. And then all you got to do is just now information about the subject of the certificate. So the first name on the subject, and right, you put all your names in there, and then go your gender, and then you do all this stuff. Look at this. It's like a 10-minute form, and then how much does it cost? How much does it cost? $53. $53. I think you can afford $53 there, Bernie Sanders. Look at that. Within, I could get that form filled out in like 10 minutes, but I bet you, because you're older, maybe half an hour of your time to get that all worked out.
Shot and killed an armed man who unlawfully entered the perimeter at Mar-a-Lago.
Oh, look, he drives a 2013 silver Volkswagen.
Early this morning, at 1:30 this morning. The Associated Press is out with some new details right now. They have named, and we have confirmed the name of the suspect, 21-year-old Austin Tucker Martin. According to the Associated Press in this bulletin that just crossed, he was reported missing by his family a few days ago. Investigators believe he headed south and picked up a shotgun along the way, and they think that because they found a box for the shotgun in his car. The FBI is right now asking people that live near Mar-a-Lago to check their doorbell cameras, check any cameras that they have in their yards, so they can figure out exactly how this guy got into the area. But it is now believed, according to the AP, that he might have piggybacked behind a vehicle entering Mar-a-Lago lawfully when the gate opened. For more on this right now, let's go to Fox News correspondent Lucas Tomlinson. He is at the White House where President Trump was while this all unfolded overnight. Lucas.
Good morning, Peter. President Trump was at the White House this week, and he was not in Palm Beach where this incident occurred. And the Secret Service says they were assisted by Palm Beach County deputies who assisted in shooting the suspect, as you mentioned, named 21-year-old Austin Martin of North.
So Val, it says $53 in New York. I don't know what state you're in California, I think, right? So it all depends on what yours is. You need a birth certificate for the unconstitutional real ID. They want to force us all to get the travel domestically. Yeah, Gavin's been talking about that for a while. He's been telling me about that for a while. I don't got one. I don't fly, so I don't worry about it. I have too many issues to fly, so I just drive. So man who tried breaching Mar-a-Lago with a gun and gas was identified as Austin Tucker, 21, of Cameron, North Carolina. And you know they started talking about Ring cameras, and it made me think, well, they had brought up Ring cameras for the Nancy Guthrie case. Have you guys noticed? We haven't heard shit about Nancy Guthrie lately. Anybody notice that other than me? Has anybody noticed that we're not talking about her anymore all of a sudden? Okay, that page is no longer good. We should look up Nancy Guthrie and see what's going on with that stuff. Funny how we haven't heard anything about that lately. What the heck is going on here? Oh, there it is. So sources from Laura Loomer. So, you know, sources tell me the name of the white male shooter who was killed at Mar-a-Lago, trying to shoot is Austin Tucker. Oh, well, she got it right. She got it right. She definitely got it right. I wonder who her sources are. All right, so if you guys don't know, yesterday they killed a big time drug leader. What is it? Something JIT or GJ, I don't know. And they killed him. So all his cartel members are just fucking going nuts down there, and they're just shooting the shit out of everybody, starting Costco's on fire, all kinds of crazy shit. Oh, did they? We're going to look it up. That's a girl. Didn't it look like a girl? El Mencho, that's his name. Somebody's got a Ring camera. That wasn't mine. Well, this one looked like a girl walking, though. Didn't it? See that one? That's a girl. Look, yeah, they got the pink shoes. That's a girl. That's a girl's body. That's not a dude. That's definitely not a dude. Definitely not a dude. I think I got a whole bunch of videos on this stuff now. So the CJNG cartel is stormed the Guadalajara airport. So this is another one we can watch. Yeah, you don't want to be in Mexico right now. Oh yeah, I don't watch Taco Joe. I don't watch dumbasses. I don't watch grifters like him. So CJNG members have issued major threats threatening to forcibly enter homes and hotels at 5 p.m. if their demands are not met, prompting heightened security concerns. What were their demands? I wonder. I say we just go in there and take them all out. Alleged communications from CJNG's Delta faction say the group is mobilizing to avenge El Mencho. It says, be prepared to go into action after 12 noon, gentlemen. The order is clear, and there will be no truce for those who dare to take the man. Even his dog will die. If the man hasn't been handed over to us by noon, we will all go into action, killing civilians. Only children will be spared. This is going to burn, gentlemen. Deltas, Reds, Scorpions, the entire elite force of the man must go into action. Sincerely, whatever. And this is just it in Spanish. So I say we just fucking bomb the shit out of the cartels, right? Shouldn't take too long. So this is them setting trucks on fire down in Mexico. This guy is driving a truck too. He's like, I'm getting the fuck out of here. We have a lot in Cali, do we? Wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised. So this is where they attack in civilian buildings. Is this the one where they got the Costco? Let's see. Yeah, the Costco.
Verga, loco. Chinga tu madre.
They're just setting cars on fire, everything. Just insane. Just insane. But yet the Mexican president, she won't do shit about it, will she? She won't do shit about it. Or is this the same video? Is that the same video? No, this is another one too. Let's see. Intense fighting unfolds as Mexican National Guards. Listen to this. This is pretty insane. Where's the sound? I thought there was sound with this one. I must have done something to turn it off. Hold on. There's got to be sound on this one. Nope, it's all the way on. There is no sound. But you can see the gunfight. They're shooting a police car up. Wow. The cartel has a lot of firepower. I can tell you that. They're upset because they paid the president for protection, and this is still what happened. Yeah. You think the president? You think they're gonna assassinate her? I wouldn't be surprised if she ends up assassinated. What do you think? I mean, these guys don't give a shit about anybody. They just want their money. They don't care how they get it. They don't care who they kill. You know? Oh, they went around her? I wouldn't be surprised. Wow. Big stretch, Donnie. Did you have a long day, Donnie? I keep fucking up. Hold on. Let me see if I can copy it this way. Let's see if we can paste it this way. Maybe it'll work this time. There we go. Oh, it's one on Gavin. Oh, yeah, this is the one where he calls black people, where he says, oh, you know, I'm dumb too.
I'm not trying to impress you. I'm just trying to impress upon you. I'm like you. I'm no better than you. You know, I'm a 960 SAT guy. and I'm not trying to offend anyone, trying to act all there if you got 940. But literally a 960 SAT guy. I cannot, you've never seen me read a speech because I cannot read a speech.
Shut the fuck up.
Maybe the wrong business to be in. I'm not,
Like Gavin said earlier, well then how'd you write a fucking book then? How would you write a book then, bro? All right, let's see. Nancy. Oops. No, that's not what I wanted to do. I hate it when it does that. Gotta click on this first. Nancy Guthrie. Let's see what's going on with this. Let's see anything news. February 13th, February 5th, February 12th. I'll have to go to latest. That score is equivalent every fucking day living under his rule. Right? How a pacemaker may help locate her. That's speaking of DNA analysis. Yes, the United Cajun Navy reached out weeks ago offering search assistance. New details shows the suspect scouted the Arizona home before the 84-year-old. I don't know. I still think it's the family. I think it's somebody in the family. Yeah, they're not showing much of it. Anyways, guys, I didn't get much sleep. I had to do a lot today. I had to get my stepdad up the hill in snow because it was pretty crazy. Because he had a doctor's appointment today. Here, you guys want to see how crazy it is going up the hill at my house? So this is the snow, how bad the snow was. And I only went up it because I've been going up and down for Saturday and Sunday for hours at a time to build it to get just this low. So, yeah. Started slipping right there. So my truck was up here. And my truck got out up here, no problem. Maybe, Val. Maybe his friend wrote it for him. But that's what you gotta do to get out of my house when it snows. And this was after it melted for a day or two. So yeah, that's what it looks like at our house right now because of the snow. So that's what I had to do to get my stepdad up to his doctor's appointment. I had to put him on the back of the quad. All right, guys. So like I said, I've been busy all day. I actually had to walk up there with Donnie because Donnie's afraid of going on the quad. So I had to walk up and down. I fell like 10 times because, I don't walk very well. But anyways, thank y'all for stopping by tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. We're going to live stream the State of the Union address, the SOTU. So come on and watch it with us where you can actually talk like real people, instead of watching it on the Democrat stuff where all they're going to do is shut you up. So good night, Gavin. Good night, Val. Speed was in here. I don't know if Graw's still in here. Good night, y'all. Have a great night. I'm going to go cook me and the dogs some dinner. I'm going to make I got some ground beef defrosted, so I'm going to ground beef it all up, and then you put in some green beans and you cook that up some more with the green beans. Then you add the green chili sauce in there, mix all that up. And then you take it out and you put some sour cream and some freaking cheese on top of it. Oh, it's so good. Then in the morning, what you do is you take it and you heat it back up in the frying pan. Then you add 3 eggs. Oh, so good. All right, good night, y'all. Have a good night. Actually, should I send you guys? Is somebody else streaming, I wonder? Nah. I got enough raids in. All right, good night, y'all. Have a good night.